Let's get started.
Here we go. Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
Do not attempt to adjust your dial. I'm transmitting live. Yo,
Let's get down to business.
Now let's get it all in perspective. We did it like that, and now we do it like this.
All right.
for the underground world, every street and borough.
You may learn something.
You are now listening to the Joe Rogan Experience with Chico, Simon, Kamar, and your host, Matt Floyd.
Welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. My name is Matt Floyd, joined as always by Kamar
Welcome to the party.
and Simon.
What's going on?
What we do here is very simple. The three of us have listened to every episode of the Joe Rogan Experience this week. We're going to rate each episode as well as the week on a scale of 1 to 5 Jamie Vernons. We're going to talk about each guest, the talking points, give our opinions, this, that, and the next. But first, Kamar is going to read off new Patreons.
Welcome, new listeners and old listeners alike. This is my favorite part of the week. My favorite people of the week are the Patreons, and I'd just like to give a quick shout out to, finally a tough name, Jason Oderkirk. Actually, that's all right.
I was going to say, that's not, unless there's some wild pronunciation.
I hadn't said it out loud till that second
Yeah,
right
I think
there,
it's just
so
Uderkirk, yeah.
it looked intimidating. And, of course, thank you to all the Patreons.
Thanks, Jason.
Shout-outs to Jason. Welcome to the team.
You're the reason we do this. If you are in a Patreon, at least like and subscribe, do something. Or fuck off.
Kamar, how was your week?
Too hot. This week was too, like, I was working outside. And it's tempers flare, you know what I mean?
At least it's better this week.
There's no patience. Friday felt amazing, you know, that cool air in the morning, but I don't know if it's gone. And a good friend from England is visiting.
That's fun.
It's so crazy, but he came up to me. He's a really good friend and was like, went to give me a big embrace. And I was like, whoa, we don't do that. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You were like that, though?
I am timid to do, I want to do that to everyone, but I've been conditioned not to.
Yeah, but when someone comes to you, like,
It
don't you...
still felt
Weird.
foreign. I then embraced him.
Interesting.
Well,
But I
they're
found-
probably assuming that he's vaccinated when they go for that embrace. So
No.
if he's wearing like a scarlet A on his chest,
Gotcha,
that would
gotcha.
help with this whole embrace.
No,
see.
we're on a thread and he knows. But I was surprised to find out that where
I'd love to see that thread.
he comes from in England, they're completely open.
Yeah.
Like no mask, no nothing. Which I thought they were in some phase.
No, I told you about Boris Yeltsin there.
Boris Johnson.
He got on and he was like, listen, we've done it this way up till now. This is where we're at. We're opening up. Prepare for people you know to die. I think those were his exact words to his
Do
countrymen.
you think if we were all open up, people would be less tense now than they
Well, we are open.
No, but fully open. Like no masks.
What was the question again?
Do you think
Can you phrase it again?
Would we be more tense?
everything was full open, there was no mask, would people be as tense as they are right now?
I think people would be more tense if everything was
People would
wide
be
open.
concerned about the hospitals filling up and whatnot.
Yeah. I mean, that should be your big concern, that if you get into a car accident, that there's no room in the
for you.
ICU for you because people are sick. Now, you know, that should be everyone's concern. Whether you believe in this thing or not, you should not want the ICUs at 100%
Or they're pushing
capacity.
back surgeries. Like I was just thinking the other day, it took 2 years. I had to wait 2 years for me to get my surgery. That's just normal waiting time in Canada. Imagine
May
like
still be waiting.
waiting 2 years and then fucking having to wait another year because there are no beds available. Like,
Well, I mean, yours is like, imagine if you have like a serious, like imagine cancer screenings are going, you know, like I think they're stretched pretty thin. Although if you ask a lot of people, they're like, no, the hospitals are fine. This is all made up bullshit.
Do you think most people or half people?
Half, of course, yeah. But they tend to be the
half the people.
majority.
You think half the
Tinfoil
people
hats.
think that?
Yeah, I think right now we're at about 50%. You don't?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know, Simon. It's tough to tell.
But if we were fully
Obviously, you
open,
disagree with me.
I don't know.
if we were fully
I never
open and
really put
didn't
a number on
change,
it.
I think people would be a little more relaxed. Like that is now what's giving people anxiety is we're not where we should be because people are selfish or whatever, are hesitant or whatever the reasons are.
Well, that's just giving people a new reason or a new excuse to be angry, right?
Yes.
Because now they can point their ire somewhere
So
at
that-
these
so my
people who
point was,
refuse to do it.
If we got all our freedoms back or whatever it is, people are like, okay, fuck, whatever. I don't notice it as much, but it's still infringing on my life.
Well,
someone
I think
else to make a bad decision.
Yeah, I guess. I think the whole forget it. You know what? I'm not doing this.
No, and
We're
we don't have
we're
to
not
talk
doing
about it too
this.
much.
He
Well-
baited me in the first 3 minutes of the show. He
damn.
baited me into this. I'm not.
We
doing
haven't
it.
even gotten to your week yet.
Yeah, not doing it. Not doing it.
Let's get
Couldn't do it.
No, you're still on your week. Kamar, go ahead.
there. I saw
Working outside, tempers flare.
His week was hot. His friend, his
I saw
liney
old
friend is here.
and you know when you drive places like what that was built there, and like oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like
What, you forget that
Because he
Ottawa
hasn't
grew
been
around?
here in how long?
I mean, even in this pandemic, not traveling, I've gone to certain places. Like, when did that building get there?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just a neat thing. Like someone who's from you, but now is actually not from there anymore.
But I mean, again, that's
See
just
it
a
through their
weird.
eyes.
But you're acting as if time. Like, think about it this way: you would have not noticed those buildings going up anyway. You're still working. You're still going out. Like, it's not like you're.
Well, yesterday I noticed the building at Fifth Avenue Court. Like, that's a
Yeah, but I mean, I've been by there 100 times and I haven't noticed. You know what I mean? Like, there's just to. I'm not taking away
I
from
think
your
for the
point, but-
example is he was like he pointed to the McDonald's, said I can't believe that's not a Max Milk, and I was like, it's been more a McDonald's than a Max Milk for me. But then
I was just gonna say when was that a Max Milk? At least 10 years ago, right?
well, it burnt down.
No,
yeah, I remember the whole block
it's
burnt down. Yeah.
been the Max Milk way longer for me than and for you.
Hold
than
on.
It's been the McDonald's.
Yeah, in our memory, but in recent memory,
This
like
is just what
the
I'm
last
saying.
10 years, I would say.
So it's just interesting to see through the eyes. I just an observation.
I finally looked up at that stupid building on Carling and
Just now,
Preston.
No, I mean I've driven by it, but today I was like in a perfect spot driving down the street where I could see how stupid it was.
Which one? Carling and Preston? What are we talking about?
Carling and Preston,
Yeah,
that
the new-
giant
the biggest
building
fucking
in the city.
penis in the
Yeah.
sky, and like because I looked up today and there were clouds
Yes,
around
yes,
the
it's in
top
the
of
clouds,
it, and I
man.
just thought this is so fucking stupid. Like,
Why is it stupid though?
because you didn't need to build it that fucking tall, Matt.
But hold on, no, but
There's
you
nothing
wanna-
else
wanna-
around to
but you
blend
wanna-
it into.
But you want to avoid the sprawl, and you got to realize in order to get some big buildings, you got to start with one,
Oh,
right?
dude. Well, first of all, I don't.
I'm
want,
for it.
I don't want
I'm
big
for
buildings.
it if it's a debate.
I like we want to become like Toronto with their fucking condos by the water. That's the grossest shit ever. Anyways, not getting baited into this one either.
You
Not
just-
in the first 5 minutes of the show.
it's like 52 stories or something. Would you be uncomfortable up there?
Oh, I would be totally
no
uncomfortable.
balcony for
That
you.
thing looks like it's gonna bend like a giant penis would.
I like it. I'm happy. There's big buildings, and they're building another building on the top of Carling.
I hope they build a building right on top of your house.
I hope they build a building on top of that building.
I hope
Double
they build
building.
a building on top of you, like the fucking Wizard of Oz.
The owner of my house got a handwritten letter saying, "We buy houses. Call us."
I've gotten 10 of those. I get those once a week.
I know, but I could see like a letterhead, like something
Well,
proper.
that's how
No.
most people do
given
it.
to appeal, but it's like, oh, seems legit.
Yeah, I photocopied this at the Kinko's. Yeah, I know.
Well, just know you're going to be saving on agent fees because there's no way
It's true.
that they're coming with it.
Anyways,
Anyways,
it was a hot week. That's all I can say. I don't remember anything else.
Simon, what's grinding your gears this week?
oh well, that building that grinds.
Well, we got
my
past that,
gears.
yeah. So tall buildings grind your gears. So what is it? Slow old cars grind your gears. Tall buildings. We should start a list of things
I
that,
should be
that
keeping
grind Simon's
track.
gears.
Yeah, no, that really pissed me off when I saw the clouds up there. I was like, this is fucking the
I
stupidest
love
thing
that look.
ever.
I think that's super cool.
Ever.
This is the stupidest thing ever.
What I want to talk about this week, Matt,
Yeah.
Matt,
Yeah.
that's your
That's
name,
my name,
Matt,
yeah.
Matt, not Max, is Disney Plus adult version because I finally got it.
so you found solar opposites.
Yeah, just so we were both right.
It sounds like I was a
I'm-
little more right than you.
Oh no, I'm throwing you a fucking olive branch here. I think I was all the way right. I went on Disney Plus. None of those things were there. You said that's impossible. Then we figured out why it was possible.
But what is Disney Plus adult? I don't know what you're talking about
That's
here.
just when you take off the restrictions on the things.
On Disney
so-
Plus.
Yeah.
What's
yes.
plus then?
No, that's just what I'm calling it because it's like the super plus, you know?
So like I said, all you have to do is remove the person
Oh, yeah.
wrote in and
I
said,
went in there. Thank you, caller.
yeah, but I'm still
emailer.
wrong.
Well, you weren't right.
But that's why you couldn't
didn't-
find it.
I didn't have it. It wasn't there. You
but isn't
know
it
what
just
I
a
mean?
button you switch? It's not something you got to pay for.
But okay, the last time we went mini putting, and I said to you, "Did you take off the adult restriction?" And you said, "Yes, I fucking did," and it's still not there.
No, I hadn't taken off the adult restriction. I had taken off something else. I'm not getting goaded into this in the first 5 minutes of the show, Matt.
He's above
I
it.
refuse.
Probably shouldn't, yeah.
But just on Disney Plus, watched a couple of things on there. Today I watched Predators, which is not what do you think it is right off the bat? It's Predator franchise, but with an S. You know it?
Nope.
You don't know the Predator franchise?
Oh, the shoes? Oh,
You're
the
talking
movies.
about the movies.
Yeah,
Oh.
the movies.
Yeah.
You know them? They're aliens.
We talked about it last week.
Yeah. So this one was with. Have you seen it? Anybody?
Are we talking the original or like
Yeah.
Alien
No.
versus Predator?
This
or-
is Predators
No, I haven't
with
seen
an S.
So this is a new franchise that is a spin-off of the
It was
old
2010, so it's not.
No, I haven't seen
fits
it, no.
Somewhere. I didn't know it existed. That's why I'm asking. But it has like an all-star cast. The guy from the piano. Ringing any bells?
one. No.
Big nose.
AJ Brody.
Ray Fiennes.
Nice
Oh,
body.
Adrian.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Adrian Brody.
Did you say nice body?
He's got a pretty banging body, man.
His body's just
Easy,
like yours,
Jake
Simon.
Paul.
That's what's
Okay,
hard for
let's
you to
keep
be
going.
Oh no, Kamar, you should check him out in this movie. He's fucking
Jacked.
Jacked.
Are you sure it's him and not that other guy?
Kamar, I'm 1,000% positive.
Adam Driver.
Lawrence
I think those could get
Fishburne.
mixed up.
Gotta love
Topher
Fishburne.
Grace.
But is Lawrence fat? He's more of a Larry.
Yeah, he's more of a Larry. But you
Larry
know, Lawrence
Fishburne,
Fishburne,
yeah.
was in the first Predator.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
no S.
He was skinny.
No less. He was skinnier, yeah.
He was much skinnier.
Well, he's lasted whatever, how many years.
Boys in
on
the
that
Hood was
planet.
94. Oh, you're talking about in
Like,
that world.
In this
yeah.
world, man.
he was
not
fat.
Lawrence.
He was
Sorry, yeah.
fat in the Matrix.
Anyways,
That's
so
when he turned into Larry.
pretty fucking terrible movie, just so you know.
You know what's coming out on Disney Plus in October?
Go on.
Invasion.
What
It's gonna be.
is that?
It's a good bit about an alien invasion.
Oh, nice. That sounds like fun. The new his movie is coming out. Blink 182 guy.
About UFOs.
Yeah, it's called like no, it's his. It's about UFOs, but it's a
Fiction.
yeah, it's like a blockbuster movie. I think it's called like Monsters of L.A.
No way.
And apparently, so it's like Dan Brown meets UFO lore. He's going to talk. His idea was always to like teach people through entertainment, right? So anyways, Disney Plus. I also watched that. Speaking of aliens, I watched that Solar Opposites.
Yeah.
It's very funny, like
Yeah.
hilarious. But it's one of those ones where there's just so many jokes that you just become numb to it after like 2 episodes, you know?
You can't binge it.
It's too, yeah, I find it a lot. But it's funny. I also watched MODOK? Did either of you watch that?
Murdoch?
No,
What the
no.
hell's MODOK?
MODOK. It's a
Loki.
Marvel
Is it Loki?
franchise. No. MODOK is a enemy of like, you know, Iron Man, whatever. He's like a head. He's got tiny little arms and legs. He floats around. I'm sure you've seen him.
He steals planets. He's got a huge head.
No, that's Galactica.
you're right.
Anyways, they did like a spin-off show for him where they use claymation and it's Patton Oswalt's voice and it's like real, it's him in real life kind of. It's pretty fucking funny, man. It's like, what's that one they did with the puppets there? South Park.
Team America.
Yeah, it's
World
got that
Police.
feel to it, but it's done in claymation like, you know, Gumby and Pokey.
I was thinking the California grapes.
California Raisins.
Raisins.
Sure. It's,
California Grapes. I
When
mean, I
they were
guess
young.
you're not wrong.
When
yeah.
they were young.
That was their
anyways.
first band.
That was it, man. But that gave me a whole bunch of new viewing. Oh, and then I watched that American Horror Story. I had never seen that before.
With the camping trip that goes wrong.
No, that's the newest one, I think. I watched the first one where they're like in a haunted house. It's just nice to have new fucking shows to watch. My life is so pathetic.
Do you like
that-
Val Kilmer?
No. That when they show me, when I get something new, it's like it actually
your teeth
brings me
into it.
joy. That is sad, Matt.
Okay. Well, there was Simon's happy week.
There you go.
How was your week, Matt?
It was fine. I think I've realized this week more than anything that I always thought that when you were told like you could be anything you wanted, that was kind of bullshit. Like I was always told that, but it never sunk in. I was always like, yeah, sure I can. But you really can. I mean, Bruce Jenner's a woman. Sorry, Caitlyn Jenner's a woman. Jake Paul 5 years ago was an 0-0 fighter. Had never fought anyone. Never fought. He was about to fight a YouTuber named Deji, KSI's brother. Now he's about to fight Tyron Woodley. You can really just do
not only that, but they gave him the fucking odds.
Did they ever give him the odds?
Vegas, that I'm not good at this betting stuff, Matt. But that's 2-1 odds for him, right?
Close. It's 1.6 to 1 odds. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Give or take. It's 2-1 odds. Yes.
That
Against Tyron Woodley.
That would be like if I fought.
Sorry, for Jake Paul, it is 2-1. It's against that 1-2 odds. Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. They think he's twice as good as Woodley is. Like that's if we're breaking it down to.
I mean, I wouldn't use that as the like. I would say like if Tyron Woodley was like a +5, +600. But I understand what you're saying. Yes,
thinks he's twice or 1.6 times as likely to win.
That is what it would appear.
We are living in fucking bizarro world. I don't mean to hijack your week, but like bizarro world.
Listen,
You have no desire to watch it.
if I had $10,000 cash right now, I would put all of it on Tyron Woodley.
But I asked
And
Simon,
yes, then I would watch it.
do you want to watch it? He's like,
You have never uttered more true words than these. Just hold on. Sorry, I have to get it because I wasn't planning on.
you don't intend on watching it tonight,
Yeah, I have nothing to do.
as it is this evening. Oh, you're going to get it? Or
Matt's-
you'll stream it or whatever. You're
I'm not going to steal it.
going to pay for it.
Sorry, sent me a picture of the odds, and he said this: either Vegas is drunk or the fix is in. This makes no sense. And then he said, "I'm ready to drop 10K on Woodley right now if I had it."
And I have a feeling if Woodley goes
The
down,
fix
you're going to think it's a fix.
Is in, dude. There is no fucking doubt about.
But
this,
here's my
man.
thing, though. Listen, like, okay, let's just think about this fix theory for a second, because I sat on it and I pondered it for a second. If you're Tyron Woodley, you're probably not broke, right? Like you must have money.
You're broker than Jake Paul.
That's not my point. I'm not talking about like, again, I don't hold success. I don't hold money as the bearer of success. That's not how I look at it at all. Yes, Jake Paul has tons of money. He's also very successful. There's no taking that away from him. My point is just, you could assume that Tyron Woodley has $1 million liquid. I would at least.
I don't know. You'd have to show me all his purses.
What's your point?
My point is if you are that good a fighter and you know you're fighting this fucking nobody, even if it's boxing, when you see plus 160, you drop $1 million on yourself. Why do the fix? Like, unless they're paying you, unless they're paying you a bag that you couldn't make. You know what I mean?
Sure, he's going to win. He
If
should
Jake,
bet on
like,
himself.
think about it like this: if Jake Paul thinks to himself, "Okay, I can pay this guy $10 million to lose on the low, right? No one will ever find out." And then my shit gets raised. I'll make $30 million off the fight. So I'm really, the $10 million is a wash anyway because I'm still profiting.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm just not sure it's a money thing. I think this is like put on your tinfoil hats because I think they're building up Jake Paul, both Pauls for that matter, for something. And we just haven't seen what that something is yet. But this is like getting credibility.
But
it's
who's
all
they?
about just getting credibility.
Because we know it's not Dana White.
Who is they?
There
man?
is
Who
more
has
people.
they
There's-
always been?
There's more
Well,
people.
Listen,
who
100,
wanna see
150 episodes in, and we haven't figured out who they are. So
they should be banned. But there is a bunch of people who want nothing more to see than Jake Paul, like 360 flat on his face, like it would make their lives. And then they realize the next day it really didn't mean anything. But he's done such a good job of being a heel. And everyone says if he loses, this whole run is done, and he cannot be what he wants to be anymore. But
that's just not true, though.
I don't believe that. I'm just saying what.
If there's money to be
Brendan
made,
Schaub said that. Said he's on his way, or this is the end of the road.
Oh my God! Speaking of
The hero,
did you?
Louis J. Gomez.
Yeah, you don't
Yes,
listen
yes.
to Skanks.
sometimes I do. Why?
But
What did
he
he say
gets
this week?
on Skanks right at the beginning of the show, and they're talking about their weeks because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And he starts
Never heard that
telling
before.
this story about driving down the road with his wife and pulling
on the
over
car.
because he saw a fat kid on top of a car and tells the whole story, dude. Like I was dying laughing.
I don't know if they knew about it though, or if they're just like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, the other two.
But that means you have heard Jay's Elvis Presley impression then,
Maybe I don't.
when they're talking about sleep with underage girls, like Jerry Lee Lewis, Elvis.
Okay,
You-
I don't remember, man.
It's the funniest. What a week!
Yeah, you want to run through the guests for us, Kamar, if you don't mind?
Love to.
It's Ladies' Week.
Yeah, what the fuck? That's never happened before.
Ladies'
Not
night.
since we've been doing this.
We started
I don't think
waitress
that's ever
turned
happened.
comedian 1700 Elenor Kerrigan.
There were early weeks where there might have only been one episode a week, right? In which case,
I'm gonna check right now.
okay,
Matt.
sorry.
Followed by 10th time guest 1701, Dr. Rhonda Patrick. Finished with a real tearjerker, but it was short. 1702, Laurie Woolever, a food writer and close friend of Tony Bourdain.
I don't know if you can call him Tony if you weren't his friend.
I can't do it with Anthony. But no, I think he'd be endeared if someone just called him Tony. And he was referred to as Tony.
Yes, his friends called him Tony. I always just feel weird when I refer to someone like that if I didn't know them personally, because it's like, who the fuck are you? Just the 3 this week. Do you want to rate it, anyone? Simon, you're busy looking at stuff. Kamar, do you want to rate it?
I'll give it a 2.
Kamar hates the women.
We'll see.
Who was the first one again?
Elenor Kerrigan.
Which one was she?
She's a waitress turned comedian.
Oh my God, yeah.
Andrew Dice Clay's ex.
Side piece.
Yes.
That's how she wants to be referred to.
Yes. I'll give the week I don't know. I guess a 2.5. I don't know. That sounds about right.
Can you run down the guests for me again, please?
Kerrigan,
Elenor
Rhonda
Kerrigan,
Patrick, and Bourdain's.
Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Sorry. No disrespect.
And Laurie Woolever. Former
Mrs.
drunk.
No.
175.
175.
2.
Wow.
2.
Oh.
I'll give it a 2.
He's bumping it up. Feels bad for the ladies.
No, I just, I don't know. There were parts of one part of one episode that I liked. Hated the rest of it. There was an episode I kind of liked, but we'll get into it in 2 seconds. And then an episode that I just didn't.
I think there's only
But I
one
mean, your
liked.
favorite part of the week happened on Ari's podcast anyway, so what does it matter?
Oh, yeah. That dude.
Well, this is a part of the problem of listening to that one before.
Well,
this.
I was about to. This
So
was
yeah,
all,
we'll start it
this
off.
was
Say
all
the
gonna
say the
lead
number
into
so
it.
that when I'm
Yeah.
editing.
1700, Elenor Kerrigan.
Is this 1700 on the nose?
Exactly.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting.
Is this episode 150 for us too? I don't know. Either way.
That would be weird if we were on the same.
I think it might be 149.
It's like when girls spend a lot of time together and their periods become in sync.
Yes.
We're like one with Joe.
Yes.
You wanted to talk about Ari's podcast and her being on it
She
first.
was on Ari's podcast. It was a great fucking podcast. The theme was the old days at the Comedy Store, and they both worked there.
Yep.
So she shined in that episode, which in sharp contrast to this episode, which we'll get to.
But I think like what you said there is it was 2 former employees. Even though Joe worked there, it wasn't like the same
No, but
relationship.
just-
So they were way more inside scoop.
okay. Go listen to that episode because there's the funniest joke of all time.
It's called the Skeptic Tank, by the way.
So funny.
Ari Shafir's Skeptic Tank.
Episode 1800.
What I think about that, Kamar, is Joe didn't let her shine.
No.
That's what happened. Joe stepped all over her. He
Oh, I
stepped
wish I had
all
a
over
DJ's
her
fucking
joints.
bit.
shots
Step
fired
all over.
like chick-pow, chick-pow. It's like
But he did. It was like
You got spoiled, I think.
the first couple of times she was on, Joe was like pumping her up, helping her. Everything seemed good. This one, it seemed like they were more, this is probably what they're like in real life. But if that's the case, then I don't know, man. He didn't seem like a cool guy to hang out with in this episode.
Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan, correct. No, Jamie. Jamie always seems cool, Maddie.
I thought everyone had a great time on this podcast.
Really? I'm the only one who saw it that way?
But I think it's tainted because of the podcast you saw before and had her going in here. If you'd just seen this one, you wouldn't have been as bothered.
No, I know
You
what
think
Simon
you know
means.
the
There's
side
a
of
few
her?
times. Listen, I also don't know if it's a woman thing as much as it's like there's certain comedians when they come on that Joe forgets they're comedians or like won't give them the yes and benefit of the doubt. I'm not saying it happens all the time. It happens sometimes very noticeably where you're like, Joe, they were clearly
In the first 10
telling
minutes.
a joke and you just weren't like, I don't know whether you weren't picking up on it or you were overly serious about the topic and didn't want someone joking about it. Like,
I think I told you about this already, but in the first 10 minutes of the show, he's like, she says, yeah, Joe, like in that comedy special of yours where you said, the sun's falling out of the sky. Like she was just using that as an example of something so she could tell us. No, that's not what I said. That's not, it had nothing. The sun could never fall out of the sky. What are you talking about, Kerrigan? Like come on, man. Come on. That's not.
yeah, yes and throw her a bone, Joe.
Not even yes and just how about like I'm not a total dick.
Yeah, that too. Kamar didn't see it that
I
way.
don't know what happened on that day. I mean, again, I did not see it the way you saw it, but I can't help but referencing the Aria podcast. She pointed out, or they both agreed that waitresses who work at comedy clubs like have a good feel for what's funny. It's a true observation. You don't understand how much to see people over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's a really good training ground.
But Joe thinks that never translates to the crossover.
He cannot believe that, or he wouldn't even have her on. Like, is it just to sell her special?
Well, he thinks she's funny, obviously.
She must be funny.
You've never watched her comedy?
No, but there's lots of comedians who've been on Joe Rogan that I've never watched their comedy. I thought the most interesting thing tied in with the Ari Shaffir is they talk about the Holtzman joke, and it's Columbine.
That's what Joe said.
Joe said it's always
Joe said it's always the
wife
woman
that drowns.
Yeah, that drowns her kids.
in the car.
Well, because he does the same joke for everything. They said it in this. They said whatever the
tragedy
was, he just replaces.
They had it coming. They were bad kids.
Exactly. The joke works for any tragedy that involves children.
Gotcha.
And he got knocked out. That's sort of how he came up in this conversation by Martin Lawrence security guard.
Mm-hmm.
What if that affected him for the rest of his life? You know what I mean? We talk about head trauma. He doesn't even realize it.
I'm sure he got fucked up.
Everybody toots that guy's horn. Like, I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, Holtzman, he's not funny." But I've never heard a Holtzman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You've seen some bits. You watched the comp. Okay, sorry.
no. I'm just saying, Maddie. Like, I've never seen his act come up on a fucking TV spot or whatever.
Because he's not TV friendly.
I've just never, outside of them talking about Holtzman, I've never heard a Holtzman.
He was just on Kill Tony. He's sort of creepy.
Yeah, he has a real.
But this old sort of.
He has
is
a real
he a cop or
what's that guy's name? Winters, not Winters. Simon, who's the horror guy? Real pale.
Vincent Price?
Vincent Price. He has a real Vincent Price vibe to
What's
him.
this
Vincent Price
guy
if
we're
he was
talking
fat.
about? What's his name?
Brian Holtzman.
Brian Holtzman, yeah.
Thank you. Jesus Christ, I'm so stupid.
But I think he just has always stayed in his lane of being dark and telling offensive jokes, and all the comedians respect that.
Oh my
Just
God,
keep
I
doing what you
remember
do.
doing this. That's Brian Holtzman.
Of course it is.
It's never who I think it is, though. I have a totally different picture of him in my mind.
How crazy was it that at the time the executives didn't think there was any money in black comedy? Like, wasn't that such an entourage story that the guy says, okay, they fire him, takes all his clients, and then they buy his whole business? Like,
It's insane.
It's just crazy, and
Especially with the roster.
a lack of any foresight.
When they read off the roster.
Yeah.
I mean, again, at that time, you don't know.
It's all
But it's the biggest
dark horses.
heavy hitters of
Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
Worked out good for him.
I think there's a lot of those stories, though, in Hollywood where someone just doesn't see the lane and someone does, and they're like, well, I'll just get rich off this myself. And then you'll come back around eventually. And
I think it happens now more than ever because there are so many avenues
Yep.
for people to do
YouTube,
things
TikTok,
that you're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, that person, they're never going to do shit. And then they become a fucking guy who's fighting Tyrone Woodley for $20 billion, you know?
Well, that's sort of the back door on YouTube. What I kept thinking about is probably at the Comedy Store as well as the Comedy Cellar, there's a legitimate thing that someone could see you. Like, every set, you're not just living out your dream of performing. You're also sort of doing a...
yeah, in Ottawa, it's like a 1 in a million that there's going to be like a major.
Even in Toronto or Vancouver.
Well, that's why you go and grind it out in those places.
That is why.
That's why people go
Carolines
to Hollywood, because
and-
you could
yeah.
be waiting tables as your side gig and get discovered.
And I cannot tell you guys how to get an agent. And that seems so much more attainable if you're in...
The internet has changed all of that. Just ask Justin Bieber. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need...
just have to hustle
If
yourself.
you're the greatest or if you're great at what you do,
You don't even need to be great. You
Chances
just need a
of-
following. I know he was. I'm just saying
Yeah.
is you don't necessarily like KSI is the perfect example. Like he's not a good rapper. He's not a good singer.
Did you see him at the Leeds Festival this weekend?
I thought
No.
he was a video game player.
That's how
was.
he started in YouTube
was.
playing
Okay.
FIFA in his parents' like house, and now he is the biggest artist on Spotify.
Yeah.
He's
Jake Paul is a boxer.
Listen, this is what I started off. This
Yeah.
is not the jump that I was saying. You can truly. I now actually have turned a leaf,
You're
and I'm
inspired.
like, I could be a Mexican lesbian mother of 4,
Fuck
and
yeah,
I could
you
run a
can.
triathlon. Like I can
Won't be
I can
easy,
really
but you
do
can.
anything.
And at this point, I think it's safe to say we are either 50-50, living in the Matrix, or just in a shitty version of Earth.
Someone's shitty reality.
The new Spider-Man trailer came out, and it's all about dimensions.
Are they like making a real version of the cartoon one they did there?
This is real. It's No Way Home. Peter Parker asked Doctor Strange because he gets discovered, and so he's outed, and he asked him to make that so it doesn't happen.
Spider-Man's gay.
And there was
oh no,
a lot of inceptions. There'll be everything. Yeah.
Did you watch that the cartoon?
No, I didn't know.
It was.
I heard it was really good.
Fucking good.
Really
man.
good. Really good on mushrooms too.
Well, those are always fun.
There's a show on Disney Plus called What If, Marvel What If.
Yeah. I had all the comics.
And they alter like the universe. So what if this happened instead of this? So like one of them, Captain America is a woman. That Captain America never becomes Captain America. Or
Do they all lead really
the guy
progressive?
from Wakanda is Star-Lord instead of
Joins the Ku Klux Klan.
What's his name?
Whoa. Who, Black Panther?
It's just an interesting
I
concept.
see what you're
Crazy
doing.
opposite
I liked
show.
it, yeah. Kamar, I was with you. I just had to give you the whoa. That was the reaction you wanted.
What did you think of Girls Gone Wild?
What do you mean, what did I think of it? I would never have
when it was
ordered
coming out,
one of those.
I think I was like, I'd like to see one of those. I'm not going to call the 1-900 number.
I can remember watching the commercials with purpose.
You know what I mean?
If that makes any sense to you.
Maybe that was enough. But that was the only.
The half-hour commercial, the long one, yeah.
That was the only sort of slutty thing you could see.
Not really. Hold on. Blue Nuit was like a regular thing when I was a kid.
I
Yeah,
could
but Girls
only
Gone-
watch that on Saturday nights.
Well, that was the only time it was on. Yeah.
Girls Gone Wild, those commercials were on.
Yeah,
every
but I'm
night.
just saying is like,
And they were girls. They were just.
yeah, I get it. Could be
The
a girl
way
next
you
door.
said
yeah.
that was so creepy, man.
I was 16, whatever.
Yeah, but you're saying it now at
Yeah.
46,
They're
and it
just
sounds creepy.
Girls.
Everyday regular girls. It's not a set. It's
Yeah.
real life, like
Your fave.
more attainable, possibly.
Are
mean,
you so pissed that OnlyFans has fucked you?
They didn't.
No, they went back.
flipped.
They
They
reversed
flipped,
it.
they reflipped?
Yeah.
There goes the post, Joe.
Yeah. Kamar actually had a buddy who bought like the box set with Faces of Death. And I remember, and this is the weirdest part,
so
we
you've
watched
seen
them.
them.
We watched them all together, like a group of dudes. And there's nothing.
That was a combo?
Yeah, of course. Like buy Girls Gone Wild now. We'll throw in Faces of Death.
Those are the two polar opposite of things.
Wait, you jerk off and then you feel really bad.
Did it feel, if you can remember, as exploitive, sort of as it is, sort of thing?
No, the girls seem like they're having a great
Yeah,
time.
that's what I always got from it. But I get that guy got. I think he went to prison,
Well, I'm sure he was up to some other
got in
shit. I don't think
trouble.
he went to prison just for like making Girls Gone Wild.
especially in that it was a different time era.
Yeah.
What Me Too rules were kept on set or whatever. Have you guys ever heard of the Gay Mafia?
Yeah, I've heard the rumors of the Gay Mafia, of course.
Do you know something about the Gay Mafia? I feel like you do.
Why is he pointing at me?
Because he
Like,
thinks
am I
the
a
Jews. He
member?
thinks the Jews are tightly
Well, no,
wound
no.
because it's Hollywood, right?
Have you ever
So-
heard that the Gay Mafia sort of is from Montreal?
I've never heard that.
I've never done a lot of.
He's not going to say I can't confirm or deny.
No. I really like. I don't know. I know about the Jewish mafia. I know about the mafia, but I don't know about the gay mafia.
I thought you were going to give us some insight.
No, what are they?
I don't know.
Oh,
They talked about them.
you're just coming at us with. They did talk about the gay mafia.
I thought they were into clothing or something, or I thought that you might. I bet you know someone who knows something.
Well, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Because even with Jamie there, they didn't really establish what the Gay Mafia is.
Again, I think it's just a rumor that like there was people like a group of gay dudes running Hollywood, getting straight guys to suck them off for roles. Wasn't that the whole fucking?
That's what the Gay Mafia is to you?
That's what I believed it was. Yeah.
I think it could be a bunch of industries.
I mean, it seems pretty weird. A bunch of gay dudes rolling around like, do you have my money? Do you have my fucking money? You know what I mean? Like loan sharking and
Like
doing
they're
hits.
called Mafia because there's violence involved.
No, that's yeah. It's not. It's not a real mafia.
So it's like what I said. Like they just ran Hollywood.
They
closer
ran
to that.
Hollywood,
Yeah.
so they're conflating the Jews with the gays because two entities that supposedly controlled Hollywood.
And Clive Owen, not Clive Owen,
The always elusive gay Jew.
the guy who runs Columbia Records. Clive.
Geffen.
No,
No, that's Geffen
it's
Records.
Clive.
Fuck off, man.
It's Clive. Oh, anyways, he's Jewish as well.
Yeah, when they say gay mafia, they're like using mafia.
It's a conglomeration of successful gay people.
People running the show.
Yeah, I didn't think there was violence involved either. And yeah, I know you know more, but it's cool. I can't say it on this. The hockey player obviously is superior fitter than a baseball player.
Hockey players? Yeah.
I mean, they just talked about it because her.
But I didn't like the generalization there. Like some baseball players are not very
fit
fit.
as fuck, yeah.
Some of them are fucking peak athletes. So it's a weird.
But there's no hockey players who are like, I'm good at standing in front of the. You know, they're all fit. There's some pitchers who are like probably can't run that fast.
I don't know, dude. There's some big defensemen. I'm not saying they're terrible athletes, but there's some bigger dudes that are
slower.
Not that like. Yeah, I'm sure if they took their shirt off, you wouldn't be like, that is like.
No, actually, from what I understand, forwards don't want to have too much upper body because it makes you more stiff.
Agile. Well, you need to be.
You want
Yeah.
stick handling.
Makes sense. You all right over there, Simon?
Oh yeah.
Could you imagine having 9 siblings?
No.
Like, would you even know all of them? Because she was one of 10, and I think that the Brennans are that as well.
I think you'd know some better than others. It depends on your age, obviously, right? Like if you're the middle kid, you might get to know everyone pretty well.
Yeah, like if you're the youngest, the oldest is probably in college by the time you're fucking
Or at least 10 years
old
old.
enough
right?
to
Like,
figure it out.
And you have a core of like 3 or 4 that are in your generation that know each other the best. But I thought it was like she said my sister committed suicide like it was nothing. You know what I mean? If you were a family of 2 siblings or whatever, you'd be like, oh yeah, and my sister committed suicide, but they're almost disposable when you have that many.
Jesus.
Well, yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it.
And if you look at the Brennan example, Neil Brennan, they hate each other.
Him and his brother do not like each other.
Do you
yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's a
Yeah,
weird.
I think it's probably easier to hate your siblings if you have a lot of them
Yeah.
because you have a lot of like others to back you up, you know?
And I think 4 is probably the perfect number. If you're gonna have a big family,
Well, that's what you have.
that's
right?
what I have. Yeah, so it seems like it makes the most sense as far as a big family. You know what I mean? Because when we work at places, people with young kids are really happy and into their kids. You can see that. Anyways, we probably won't have kids. Simon has the joy.
I'm not having a kid, no.
1882.
Why? Are you vivisected?
No.
So anything can happen.
Anything could happen. Miracles.
And you can fix almost anything too.
1882, the first streetlights.
What? Sorry?
1882 was the first streetlights. And did you know in Ottawa they were first done by E.B. Eddy?
Powered by the
Dam.
water.
Eventually that happened, but at first they were just like filaments he made, like out of compressed wood or whatever that they light and they just burn for 8 hours.
Interesting.
And then I think 1885, that quickly got to electricity.
That is one of those events that fucking changes everything. Electricity?
Yeah, no shit.
But even that initiative, I think, was more done privately than by the government doing it. You know what I mean?
Electricity?
Or just the infrastructure of streetlights and stuff. I think that started privately and not the government doing it. It was these huge, rich, like E.B. Eddy got the contract. It cost like $11,000 to make.
Why were they doing it then? They must have got the contract by the
Because
city.
they probably had roads that they wanted to transport stuff on. And I mean, it couldn't have been just so people have streetlights.
No, I think it's because there was money to be made.
Money to be made.
Yeah.
To the city, paying the city for
Something.
upkeep
There's
of
some
the-
kickback fucking tax that they get a part of.
The old kickback tax.
Did it feel like
Because Tesla wanted to give everybody free energy and they fucking shut them down. So
and how ironic Tesla has now been abused by that grifter Elon Musk.
yeah, it's insane. He took the guy's name and pretends to be Robin Hood. Matt
Well,
and
he
I were
didn't take the
talking
game.
about-
He didn't take. Remember?
No, that's right. He
took
didn't
the
even
company.
start Tesla. Did you know that?
Elon?
Yeah. He just bought some work that somebody else already did, slapped his name on it. He is the Andy Warhol of the fucking science world.
But we
That's
like Andy
who this
Warhol.
guy is.
But we like Andy Warhol.
I made the comparison, Kamar, because he got other people to do his work for him. And then he just slapped his name on it. That was the insinuation. It wasn't whether I liked Andy Warhol.
Do you like
or
Andy
not.
Warhol?
I think Andy Warhol is fine.
But you don't
I
like
do
Elon.
not like Elon Musk. Andy Warhol wasn't fucking building
What are you doing with your shirt there, weirdo?
Yeah, this is
drills to
he's
send
showing
up
us his
into space to
naked
fucking
body.
make the moon look like Swiss cheese.
Well, did you see what Elon said this week? He was like, Jeff Bezos didn't retire. Oh, what did he say? Jeff Bezos only retired so that he could sue SpaceX into the ground.
He couldn't do that as the owner of.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was like, what is?
They're not getting along.
Again,
I guess they're not.
Elon's such a little weasel. I swear to God, though, man, like this guy is going to do something like, oh, I think the moon should have holes in it. And everybody's just going to be like, hey, yay, Elon. And then we're all going to fucking die.
You think he's going to do something irreversible that ruins humankind?
Yeah, I think that's
holes in the
this
moon,
guy's
asshole.
fucking
What are you not
plan.
listening?
Yeah, he used that example, but I bet you there's somewhere you can bet on that.
You know who
20
did
years.
things like that? Kings. Back in the olden days. They'd go out and they'd look over their land from their fucking stone thrones and they'd say, the sun is too powerful. It's brighter than me. And they'd formulate a plan to fucking erase the sun. Like, this is Elon. Sun eraser. Go buy another Tesla.
Yeah, there's no Elon love here. Oh, you're eating. I felt like Joe was trying to draw a line in the sand and bring back retarded.
Interesting.
He's been trying to bring it back.
I think so, but
He was angry. You know why?
I think he's deaded gay. He
Not
would never
gay.
say that thing's gay or whatever like that. I
Yeah,
think
you never hear Joe say that.
I think
It's
he,
true.
I think he wants to.
I think he's angry because I remember him drawing a line in the sand and being like, I'm never going to kill retarded. And there's a reason. And he was like, I remember him being staunch. Like, this is, once
Are
we
you
end
sure
this.
that wasn't me?
Oh, I've heard it from you too.
I don't know, but if you got inspired by Joe or it got.
But I changed
you
my
to Joe.
tune on it. I auto-tuned myself because
You thought about it?
well, yeah, like if it I don't need it so much that if it's hurting somebody's feelings, you know what I mean? Like,
But that's the problem is it's not really hurting anyone's. Do you think you've ever said it and hurt
I know I have.
a mentally challenged person's feelings?
No, I know I've heard a mentally challenged mom's feelings.
Wow. That's a different. You have that.
Why are you
experience.
looking at me like that?
Well, 'cause I'm just wondering, because, like-
anecdotal evidence.
Yeah. I'm just sitting here thinking like,
I have a
how
nephew-
hurt is she? Like,
She wasn't that hurt, but I just I can see that I used it because I just couldn't think of a better word at the time, and I don't need to do that. If the situation calls for it, kind of like
Fair
Joe
enough.
said, I'll throw it in there. But
Do you think you say it once a day, once a week? Like,
I probably say it once a day just by accident.
I don't
you
think I
know
say
what
it once a
mean?
day.
I don't say enough words to say it once a day.
Like you don't have enough conversations.
Yeah.
Where you say-
You
what
don't
about
say enough words.
what about if you're playing video games?
No,
You play in silence.
I don't play. I
You're
haven't.
swearing all the time.
I've played hardly any video games
you
last
did.
2 months. When I did, I don't know. Yeah, maybe this.
You were vocal?
This is retarded.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I guess.
The
maybe.
words that come out of my basement.
Yeah, your son's young though.
Oh,
It's
really?
ridiculous.
Language?
Yelling
Oh my
and
God.
screaming, and he wears his earphones, and I'll go down there and I'll be like, dude, what is going on? He's like, what, you heard me? Heard you? Like,
You should record those, man. That's hilarious.
Doesn't want to incriminate his son.
probably not.
No name. It's
No
just-
name.
It's just sounds, no faces. I think the problem you have with her is that she loves David Goggins.
Oh, I mean, I hated that for sure.
I think that's where it all fell apart for you.
No, it fell apart for me when she was like being Joe's little bitch girl, or bitch boy, whatever. To each their own.
It's so ironic. I hate my birthday. Like I never wake up on my birthday like, oh yeah, people. It's never a great day for me. Never.
Okay.
I can't imagine waking up being like, fuck, I just want this day to be over, and then looking over at my phone to an aggressive David Goggins text like, I hope you're out there suffering,
Loving
motherfucker.
it?
No, fuck that.
I think just he was a comic, she was a waitress. That hierarchy just never disappears.
Oh, no,
now
no.
they're just both comics.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
And
I
then-
feel like he had more respect for her as a waitress than he shows for her as a comic.
And so with Ari, she was a waitress. He was just a door guy.
Just a door
so
guy.
she was above him.
Yeah.
They have that hierarchy carried up, and that's why it just was a different energy.
Again, different energy because Ari knew the questions to make this girl open up and shine, and Joe just wanted to fucking have somebody there to listen to him fucking mansplain every second thing.
Do you think she was interesting? Did you?
Easy there, rum and coke. Did I think she was interesting? I don't know.
Because you didn't see the Ari thing. I'm just wondering if it's.
I didn't see the Ari thing. But again, I don't need, like, we hear so much Comedy Store talk on this podcast that I was never going to find this wildly interesting. Like, oh, another Mitzi impersonation, or, you know, more stories about Mitzi. Like, I've kind of heard them all at this point. And again, it's like listening to people reminisce it's not always my favorite thing.
I guarantee if you go and listen to that Ari Skeptic Tank, you'll hear all stories you've never heard before about
definitely
the
different
Comedy Store.
stories.
They had such a different angle on the whole thing.
Names too.
We get tainted by Joe's stories about the Comedy Store. He's seeing them through Joe's eyes, through a superstar's eyes, you know? Even back then, I don't think, like, obviously not right at the beginning, but he's always been, you know, treated with reverence there. From the day he came back, right? He's been, anyways.
Once he signs that $100 million.
Well, no, forget that.
I thought it was really poignant when she said the only proof of life is death.
Mm-hmm.
And that she was saying that in support of David Goggins. Seize the day, like, get after it. Then we talked about Richard Pryor.
For the record, that's a terrible analogy that you just used.
What?
Well, I'm one day going to die, therefore I know there's life. Is not go out there and seize the day. Like,
It wasn't. That's what I thought she was saying when she said it.
yeah, that's her take on it. I'm just saying, is like, you can not be out there every day running 20 miles like in the sun and still feel alive.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that definitely.
Okay.
Definitely, when you do too much to help yourself, it's not living. I thought it was hilarious, the story where she served water to Richard Pryor.
This bitch served me water.
But that's to the audience,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So that's when she felt endeared. Do you love that song, Paradise of the Dashboard Light?
I do love that song.
I love that song.
I love
What
that
song?
song
What
so
song?
much that it hurt my feelings when they were fucking singing it endlessly.
Oh,
But
yeah, the
they
meatloaf.
did then play it.
So poor, what's her name, Elenor, gets no listeners to this fucking podcast because Joe decided he was going to play a fucking song.
I thought more the point was that it was the first time we had a long play of music ever.
Well, he was just willing to sacrifice the monies.
Yeah, he felt he was like, "Fuck, let Spotify shut it out, let it ride." You don't love that song?
No, I don't think that's what happened. I think because he had met Meatloaf, he was like, he'll be cool with it. Spotify can work it out.
It's not, I wasn't thinking for Spotify.
We know he knows Meatloaf
He said, I met Meatloaf. He came up to me. Joe said that.
and said, "Use the song whenever you want."
No, that's not the point. But
Oh,
Meatloaf
yes.
came up to him. Joe didn't go up to him, which meant Meatloaf was aware of Joe.
He'd play "Honey, Honey" anytime without worried about.
Which he doesn't. Just as a side.
Even then, I truly believe in this day and age, after that whole cranberry fucking dude on the longboard, I believe that all artists now are like, fuck it. There is no bad, like how is your song being sung on Joe Rogan a bad thing?
Never. Oh,
Exactly.
Oh, you mean the copyright stuff and
Yeah.
all that? Yeah, no, it doesn't make sense.
Like, think about it this way. Imagine if this week Meatloaf saw a 25% increase in just that song's like listening or downloads. Like, you've already made your money back. Why bother copyright striking? You know what I mean?
And it's more people out there. Then they find you. Then they find everything.
That's what I'm saying.
That song's incredible how it's 3 different songs. It's
And
really,
isn't it adorable?
All Meatloaf songs were like that.
Yeah, that was sort of his rock opera thing. But Jamie didn't get it. Like, what? Did the song just change? Like, I don't understand. This does not compute. It's a story back and forth like The Closet. I love that song. And that song is from, we all know, we've all seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah. I've seen it, yeah.
I hope you're not doing this.
And you've seen it.
Oh my God, what a fucking terrible.
No, I've never seen it.
Okay. Have you ever seen the movie Carrie?
No. I actually haven't seen Carrie. I'm not lying.
Not even the new one?
I have seen Carrie.
Have you ever seen Christine?
No.
I also have seen Christine.
And I don't want to do Cujo.
By the way, Joe never brings up Shawshank. Ever.
Is that Stephen King?
Yes.
Yeah.
His greatest translation of movie. No, I guess Stand By Me was pretty good too, but
Well, that's great. Let's do Shawshank Redemption.
we've never done Shawshank.
We didn't do
I don't
any
think so.
any
I
of
don't
the movies they mentioned as per the rules.
I'm down to do Shawshank.
I'll let this one slide because it was so organic. Wow, perfect. Fucking perfect.
Oh my God.
It's the JREE movie game. The time has come again. For Matt and Simon, two racks of brains to guess the budget in the box office. We all know they won't guess the year, and the Patreons are the real winners here at the JREE movie game. Kamar, take it away, baby.
It's the movie game. Welcome back. Where Simon and Matt go head to head to find out what year a movie came out, how much it cost to make it, and how much it made at the box office. Now that we're into the game, you've seen Rocky Horror Picture Show multiple times, no?
Multiple.
I feel like you're one of those guys who hit up
Multiple
the
times.
Mayfair.
Dress up.
No,
and fucking
no,
the
you
whole
didn't. No,
thing,
you
man.
didn't.
The whole thing.
I have seen it at the Mayfair, though. I didn't dress up for
You
it.
saw it once, though.
Once at the Mayfair, yes.
And that's what the whole time. I think I've seen it 2 times. But it's a pretty crazy movie, and Susan Sarandon is quite attractive in it. But that's not today. Today we're doing Shawshank Redemption because he's been talking about Stephen King a lot. And it's based on Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption by Stephen King. Starring Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, Bob Grunton, William Sadler, Clancy Brown, Gil Bellows, James Whitmore. In my head, I'm confusing this with The Green Mile.
Which is also
recognizing
Stephen King.
And those names. Get the fuck out
Yes.
of here.
Yeah,
Well, let's do The
100%.
Green Mile for the movie game.
Well, we can
No,
do 2. We're doing Shawshank, though. I have a year ready.
Because you know what year it was done in.
No, I think I know. I'm torn between 2, but I had to write down 1 year, so I did. By the way, I had a 7-game parlay that paid out $14.50. I hit the first 6 games. I hit with ease, and the last game just finished a draw, so I lost.
Oh, I thought you just said you won.
Yeah.
No, I said. Oh, sorry. Did I? No, I
Everyone
Yeah.
just heard him say he won, and
didn't.
then
My
he said
bad.
why
No,
he did.
my bad. No, I played. Yeah, no.
Oh, dear. Well, thanks for sharing.
The draw doesn't go to the runner.
No. I could have cashed out before that game started for like
I
600.
wouldn't do that either.
Well, no, I
You
would
got to
no.
win it all.
So we need a year. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. I got to think about this. I've been sucking at this game so bad. What year are we in now? 2021, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you just gonna work backwards? Is that how you're gonna do this?
I'm trying to think of how old I was when I watched the movie. That's how I have to do this.
What was going on in your life, you mean?
What year would it have been?
Andy Dufresne climbed through 3 miles.
Okay, I'm ready.
Shit. Pierce,
Okay, you go first.
vomit.
1990. Oh, I want to change my mind.
At least you have the right decade this time. That's good.
1995.
I have 94. It's 93.
Is 1994.
Oh yes.
That's in play. And Simon, you were about to say 4, and you changed it to 5.
It definitely sounded like 4 was coming out of your
How
mouth.
gross
there
have I
for
done
sure.
this, eh?
How gross if you what?
I wouldn't have even
Oh,
noticed.
Wow. I would have seen it in the recording. I would have seen it in the
Of
editing.
course you would. It would have been sort of
fucking
funny.
livid.
It would have been lame and ruined the game forever.
We're doing 2 anyway, so it doesn't matter.
That's in play.
Now, this is where it gets dicey. How the fuck much did this movie cost to make?
And we've been dealing with some blockbusters as well lately.
Dude, we had $2.8 billion last week with Avatar. This ain't going to be that. That's for
Castle
sure.
Rock Entertainment. I think they had a good movie. When that thing came across the screen, you're in for a good show. Wow, Matt's in play, so he's taking more time. Simon has a feeling. And Stephen King wrote the book in 1982. It came out in 1994.
Well, the book was short stories. There was multiple short stories in there.
Just about all the guys in the prison? Or
It was the whole. It was
Book
a
of
short
short
story within the book. Rita Hayworth and the
So
Shawshank
was
Redemption.
Stand By Me.
It was in that book as well, wasn't it?
I don't know if it was in that one. Green Mile as well. Those are all short stories.
I think it's pretty obvious that he has to be on
Before he dies, man.
before he dies. Or after he dies, if that's possible.
I'm ready here. I just threw some shit at the wall, man. I have no fucking clue.
Oh, man.
We'll let you go first, Simon.
All right. I said it was 31 million to make and it grossed 320.
Whoa. I said it cost 24.6. I said it only made 126.2.
You're so fucking... Well, no, you're not quite. $25 million to make.
Holy shit. That's 400
And
grand off.
When you were 6, I was quite impressed. But it only made $58.3 million.
Wow, I lowballed it because I knew. I remember it was like an Oscar favorite, but back then Oscar favorites didn't make money.
Doesn't mean there's lineups around the block to see the movie.
I
And
know.
it still doubles as money. It's
What
not
was it,
the end of the
50
world.
what?
58 million.
Fuck.
58.3.
So close. Oh well. Let's do the Green Mile real quick.
It's the J.
This one's gonna be a lot tougher. This one's gonna be a lot.
It's
tougher.
the movie game. Double play. Because we love Stephen King, and he's not on the show, and Joe talked about him in every episode. Based on the book Green Mile from Stephen King, starring Tom Hanks, Dave Morris, Bonnie Hunt.
We
Mike
listened.
Clark,
We listened to the book on tape on the way to and from Prince Edward Island.
Sam Rockwell makes your skin crawl. In
Yes.
this.
Yeah.
And whoever, what's his name, the actor who
Michael Clark Duncan.
who doesn't wet the sponge.
Oh yeah. He always plays a greasy dude.
Yes.
He
Like
always plays a
Wesley.
wiry little
Yes,
fucking
yes, yes.
greasy.
Sniveling
Yeah.
comes to mind.
Okay, Green Mile a year.
Are you good to go?
Yeah.
I'm ready with a year. I have 01.
Oh my God. I said 2007.
1999. 1999. Year of the Lord, December 10th. I could have maybe given you 2000.
No, I wouldn't want you to give it to me unless I get it. I knew it was like, I didn't think it was 90s though. My bad.
1990, the end of the 90s, one could say. And changing of the guard.
The Green Mile. Okay, now this one.
It's the greatest feeling when that rock goes through the poster, eh? And he puts his finger in the hole. No, that's
That's in
Shawshank Redemption.
Shawshank.
That's
Jesus
Shawshank.
Christ.
I was reading this crazy
He brings
thing.
the mouse back to life.
Brings about life and takes all people's pain with the bugs.
I read this interesting, like, what is it, allegory? Is that the right word? Anyway, it was about how Andy Dufresne crawls through the womb, like literally because he puts his hand through her crotch when he pushes through, right?
all
And
the way
then
through.
And then
reborn.
he's reborn out the tube as a new man, literally with a new
Interesting.
identity and a new, quite the interesting. Anyway, I'm ready, Simon.
Okay,
I
go.
have, I actually think it cost $84.5 million to make, and then it made 410.9.
Oh my God. I am so far off. I said
Well, you
it
don't know
was
that.
37 to make and it made 97.
The budget was $60 million and it made $286 million.
I was just nowhere close.
Well, neither was I.
Great
That's
stuff.
the movie game.
Super
Thank you
excited.
for watching.
What's up, bud?
Thank you, Tyler, for that wonderful theme song every single
Thanks,
time.
Tyler.
Yeah, shout out, Tyler.
Train accidents. We talked about that a couple weeks ago.
Like derailments or just,
No,
what are we talking here?
Joe thought like one person a week was falling in front of trains, but it's like how many hundred a day or whatever.
I feel like that stat was misleading.
I don't think so. Around the world,
I'm telling you, no, they were,
No, I just don't know if those are all people throwing
No,
themselves
no, yes,
to their
no,
deaths,
yes.
you know?
throwing, being pushed, falling by accident.
I have two anecdotes. The first is, I remember the first time I got like stuck on the train long term. Someone beside me was like, "Oh, another fucking jumper," and I had never even thought about it. I was like, "Oh my god, someone jumped!" And then in my head, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm on a train that someone jumped in front of. Like, that's horrible. I'm gonna see this on
An
the
accomplice.
news tomorrow." Like, dude, nothing, no article. And then I mentioned it to one of my teachers, and they were like, "I don't want to be morbid, Matt, but like, people jump in front of these trains every fucking day. Like, you're gonna get stuck."
And it's a policy not to report suicides by the media.
Yeah, that one too. But then there's the other anecdote. While I was living there, this kid I went to school with had a seizure while waiting for the train, fell onto the tracks. This dude with his 2 daughters, he's taking them to school on the train. He's standing there, sees the kid fall, jumps onto the tracks to help the kid up, realizes that he's not going to get him up. The train's like on its way. So he lays in the little gutter in between the tracks. He lays on top of the kid while the train goes over him. So his daughters are sitting there. They watch the train go over their dad. They're freaking the fuck out. Train leaves the station. He's still there, like covering the kid. His back is all kind of fucked up because the train,
Crazy.
But he ended up,
Crazy.
But that guy should be a millionaire,
Did your
right?
friend get Brendan Schaub's autograph or what?
Who's my friend?
The guy who fell onto the tracks.
He wasn't my friend. He just went to the same school.
Another
as me.
hero? Is that what you're saying?
It was
A terrible joke. Yeah, I know.
It was a pretty fucking good joke.
I
You
thought
guys
I
were
was all
just-
in on it.
The point is, that right there is like, I think way more people fall onto those tracks.
I
That's
think
the
a
other thing.
lot of people their hats fall and they go for them.
Oh, no.
Like, I just
Yeah, it
think
wasn't
happens.
one. The cause wasn't specific. It's a lot more than you think.
Nowadays, too, with TikTok and shit, I bet people are just going on the tracks willy-nilly just for the clout.
But don't you feel like if someone does that, what he did, so he saved another person's life, the world should just give him $1 million?
Well, I remember the owner of my school was like, your kid's going to have full scholarships. Like, they can come here.
He got some benefit from
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And I think, there was no GoFundMes back then. So
This is important. Matt, tell them about Elon Musk and the trains.
what, right now?
Right now.
Oh, just change his topic?
Well, it's about trains.
Okay. So I was reading into Elon Musk this week or last, whatever. I was reading into him. This whole tunnel thing that he has in Vegas, the Hyperloop. So it's all just fugazi. Like, he built this one in Vegas, but he built it knowing it was bullshit. They were going to build a high-speed rail between LA and San Francisco. It was being discussed. It was like in the preliminary stages where, like, they were taking all comers. If you have a problem with this, bring it to the, when they have those town meetings, whatever. And Elon Musk came in and was like, because again, don't forget, he's trying to sell cars.
Yeah, you know what
in
that's going to
California.
fuck up.
Yeah, he's trying to sell cars in California, cars that drive themselves, and they're $125K a piece. So he wants to sell a lot of them. He comes in and is like, "Don't build this high-speed rail. I can build this underground thing that'll be way more efficient, way better, subterranean. We don't have to deal with anything. Like,
Where the lizards live.
I can build this tunnel, no problem."
From Vegas to LA, he said?
No, from San Fran to LA.
Okay.
So they, again, hero Elon. Apparently, after that, they pretty much deaded this high-speed rail because they were like, "Well,
Call him King Elon from now on.
whatever." So he single-handedly. I mean, again, I'm reading stuff on the internet, so I don't, who the fuck knows? But there was also a clip from him saying this in an interview where he pretty much explains that he was like, I had no intention of building this fucking thing. I just didn't want them building this.
He said this. That's shrewd. That's shrewd.
So fuck trains.
But in my head, I was thinking a high-speed train from Los Angeles to Vegas would be cool through the desert.
Of course.
I think so. Like
The whole idea was if these trains worked, LA to San Francisco, they were going to do like a monorail that you hang off of. I think that was the
Ooh,
idea.
I like those.
No, I think they were just going to do like Japanese bullet train.
I had heard they had like a new system for it. Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
I'd love
But
to go
Oh,
to
the
bullet train.
magnetic one you're talking about.
if
Yeah,
this thing worked, they were going to then put it out to all the cities in the United States, which would totally crush Elon's plans for world domination.
they should, go back to
for
that.
his.
Well, don't
car
forget, too, a
company.
place like San Francisco where the rent is bananas because that's where Silicon Valley is. If you can get a high-speed train there in a half hour from like Orange County or 40, like that's a game changer. You know what I mean?
The homeless people to spread.
No,
They
I
probably
think
can
it
afford
would save
tickets.
it would stop the homeless problem because
They'd all
the
go
rent,
home after
the rent in,
panhandling.
the rent in San Francisco would go down. Yeah, there you go.
Speaking of, they started talking about homeless people as comedians do. And I was thinking, what about having a bar in the shelter? Because they're saying that's the problem, that people are going out to get drunk or whatever, and then when they come back, the shelter's closed.
It sounds like you're building hidden cities.
Yeah, it's just a speakeasy where you just go and
I read
everyone knows
that-
your name. It's like a bar.
You have to show that you have no ID to get in.
Yes.
I read that Finland has solved homelessness by simply giving people an apartment.
By killing people.
Really putting them on their feet.
Yeah.
And in the long run,
They're saying
produce more than
they're
they
saying it
cost
actually
as
costs far less in the long run. That it's like 15,000 euros less per homeless person to just give them an apartment.
I'm sure you've heard that too.
And then they start to get their shit together.
In Japan, they put everyone to work. Everybody has a job. So if there are too many people, they just make more jobs. It'll be a person waving a sign at a person waving an arrow at a person waving a sign to get into a store.
So they have a lot of sign waving jobs.
There's a lot of arrow waving
a lot
and
of
sign. Well, it's a
pointing and-
small place with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you got to keep things organized.
Keep those arrows moving.
Point is, Matt, that's how they deal with their homeless problem.
But
By giving everyone a sign.
A job.
the one thing is San Francisco, especially, there's so many rich people. They just moved all those people out.
This is what I'm saying, though, is it lowers the rent when everyone can then just... You don't have all these fucking rich assholes living in San Francisco because they want to be close to work. Then they're like, well, I can... People don't want to spend $4 million on a home that isn't worth $4 million. Plain and simple. Even the people that have that money.
They might.
They need to push those people underground. Like actually physically
The homeless people?
underground. Yeah, that's the only way they're going to deal with this problem. They have nowhere to put them, but they
surprised Nancy
do
Pelosi
because
hasn't done that
Elon has dug a huge tunnel, a homeless tunnel, we could call it.
And just put screens with Sky every once in a while.
It's,
Every once in a while. It can't just constantly be...
let me lay another thing out for you. I just thought of this right now, but if you were a lizard person or whatever, like let's call it a underworld dweller,
Chud. Yeah.
what would be the easiest way to start acclimating people to living like that? The way you live in your underground home would be to, just like Kamar said, start building these tunnels and making it look like the outside. And then slowly but surely, it's just deeper and deeper into the tunnel and no outside.
But imagine how they would change if they were there for generations.
Yeah, I imagine.
You know what I
the-
mean? Like no
the
light,
Lizard people.
no.
That's probably what we know.
They'd be
them
very
to be.
pale. They'd probably look sickly.
Like, grays. No
Yes,
dicks.
yes.
Because why do you need dicks in the dark?
Mole people. Well, no, but the Greys had big eyes. These people don't have small eyes.
No, you would have huge eyes because you need to acclimatize to underground. Like a mole, that's a blind animal, but like most animals who live
Then
underground
wouldn't we go blind?
get huge eyes, don't they?
It is the way.
Like who live in caves.
I don't know.
Hilarious scene. I don't know if she tells it as part of the material.
Was that a cheap shot at me because I'm losing my eyesight?
No, I said I don't know, as in I don't know the answer to whether which animals have bigger eyes or not.
Well, you know that like weird little monkey creature, you know which one I'm talking about? Super cute.
No, you haven't helped at all. Weird little monkey creature.
Giant eyes, lives in the Amazon, hunts at night
Okay.
because it has giant eyes. Whatever, man. I'm agreeing with you. Move on. It's fine.
It would be hilarious to have recreated a movie when they're in the office and there's a shooting going on in the club, and Mitzi says to her, "Go get me a Grand Marnier." And the bartender's like, "Go get it." Like, what are you doing? She was an outlaw, Mitzi.
Those stories of the store, she told a bunch of them on Ari's podcast of the nights where like
It was way more debauchery.
the gangsters would show. Like that just sounds insane, man. Insane.
Well, yeah, but it's like in Hollywood or Los Angeles, the coolest place to be is the hottest comedy club. It's one of those things as well as the Troubadour or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't think it was that cool back then, though. It was like,
It was Martin Lawrence and Tupac.
I guess
It was
yeah, I guess,
different.
a different cool. Yeah.
Those are the worst nights to work at a bar. Because you know security is going to be nowhere to be found.
And no one tips.
It's not that they don't tip.
I'm
Maybe
kidding.
they
Everyone
maybe
tips.
they
They're
do
probably
tip.
ballers.
No, that's not always how it is, dude. I met a lot of ballers that don't tip a goddamn fucking dollar. But just the amount of times, like, I worked those shows. A lot of people sneak bottles in, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, we'll go." Smart Surf says you have to go grab that bottle from them. Like, yeah, okay. Smart Surf
They
can
use it
suck.
to
Smart
smash
Surf
over
can
your
suck
head.
my
No
fucking
thanks.
dick. Yeah,
I'm a
exactly.
libertarian tonight.
Yeah, I make fucking $7
That's
an
when
hour.
you pull a Joe. Just
put the hoodie
over
up
your
and get
head,
the fuck out.
Walk out the door.
Yeah, I had a few of those.
Do I work where? What? Who?
Yeah. I was in there drinking.
Joe tried to sort of put down Sebastian for taking a comedy class, but I believe Anthony Jeselnik also took a comedy class. So it's not necessarily
Just because you took one doesn't make you a hack.
no.
It's
You could
funny.
also
Joe
take
sort of said it did.
you could take one and immediately be like, oh, I've made a huge mistake. You know what I mean? Like realizing like
I think by saying take
especially
comedy
the
course
one
is a
they-
couple of days.
Okay.
they took because it was Mitzi Shore's daughter's comedy class. They thought it was going to get them into the store. The first thing she says is like,
Yeah, my
we
mom
hate
hates
each other.
me, yeah.
Don't think you're getting into the store because of this.
Sebastian, she already cashed the check.
Who just did like 3 nights at Madison Square Garden.
So maybe she's fucking brilliant.
Maybe she. I think it's good like a high school college thing co-op. Like if you really want to see what this is, but then it's the blood, sweat, and tears, and then the luck whenever it happens after time.
But isn't that one of those situations where it's like it shouldn't matter how you got there? It's the end product that matters.
Well, that's interesting because she commented on Theo Vaughn about no one liked Theo Vaughn when he started, which was always a suspicion of mine, but never articulated by anyone.
She didn't say no one liked. She was just like he really grew into himself. He had to like figure out
Oh,
kind
she
of.
said everyone was like, that guy's from reality show. He shouldn't be here.
Because he was from.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't mean they didn't like him. It just
Rules.
they had.
That's what I heard. She
All
said.
right.
Which would make sense the same way they don't like Steve-O. You hear Steve-O's stories, right? Like this guy's coming. Not that Steve-O ended up being
Christina
like a
P was also
great-
on Road Rules.
Christina P.
But
Yeah,
I didn't hear.
there's
I've
a-
never heard that from her. I've always heard her.
No, but again,
I
she
think they've
gets a
come around
lot of
with
clout
Steve-O.
because of Tommy.
Even then, I've never like people that talk shit about Steve-O. They're usually less successful comedians.
And I
Except
think they've come
for
around to
Al
Steve-O.
Madrigal.
And I think Steve-O is vocally like respectful of like how he sort of shortcut it in
Yeah.
and having shows. But Theo Vaughn as well has earned it now. Like there's no one who says he's not a comic anymore or even remembers that. But at the beginning, he probably had to fight through that. Another feather in his cap, if you will.
Listen, if Jake Paul becomes a world champion boxer and knocks out Canelo one day, we'll all be looking back going, man, remember when he, you know what I mean? You can't see, it's tough to see the forest through the trees or whatever that fucking stupid saying is that I never understood.
As far as guests being on a lot, do you feel there's an absence of Dom Irera?
Do you want me to explain it to you?
No, people have explained it to me many times. I find it to be still so very stupid. Dom Irera's not around. He's old. He's very old.
I know, but he used to be on all the time. Don't you agree?
On Rogan?
Do you notice his absence?
He's very old.
He hasn't been on in a very long time, if you want me to agree to
Forever,
that.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
very old. I'll say it one more
That's
time.
what you think it is?
Yeah, he's really old.
He doesn't want to travel.
Yeah.
Plenty of old people have been on Rogan. He has nothing he has to
He's
Sell
old.
or
He's
say.
very
promote.
old.
He
He's
just
pretty
doesn't
old.
tell the story. Can you imagine young girls listen to jokes like me? Bada boom, bada bing.
That was a great Dom Irera impression.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, man.
No, it
I-
wasn't.
I thought he was here.
I thought
I was
my
like,
Morgan,
what'd you do with
I thought
Kamar?
my Morgan Freeman.
Yo, Morgan
Had
Freeman.
something.
You know,
Had
it was
something.
it was impressive.
Yeah, that's all I got for her.
Did you do a Morgan Freeman impression?
Oh, you missed it?
Andy Dufresne crawled through 12 miles. Shit. Piss. Human feces. That's the same thing.
Wow.
This is bang on, dude. Again, I was like, where is Kamar?
You guys are assholes.
I don't know. I'm
I'm
terrible at
never do that
impressions.
again.
Oh, listen,
Wow.
hold
so
on.
I can't
You
make
are at-
fun of his
It's not a
impressions,
safe
but
space.
No,
You-
that was terrible.
Okay.
It is not
This
a
is
safe
not a safe space.
If you thought this was a safe space, you were mistaken.
This motherfucker is bottom of the barrel, so he
Yeah,
can't.
I'm terrible.
Simon,
terrible.
do a Jamaican accent real quick. For us.
Oh.
Irie on the rivers of Babylon, where we go down.
Actually, that wasn't. You know what? As far as your accents,
Bumbo clot man.
Control the football.
That was a fucking French Canadian accent.
Control the football.
Control the football.
That is Jamaican.
I cannot control the football.
Control the football.
I met my bully on the road.
Microphone
He
checker.
cleaned my window. Boomba clot.
Control the football. Pass
he
the ball.
cleaned my window. Bombaclat.
That was like a Jewish French Canadian Jamaican.
It's no Chet Hanks.
We're
that's for
definitely
sure.
getting canceled.
For what?
It's over.
For what?
You
Control the
can't, you
football.
can't do Jamaican accents anymore.
It's true. They're very sensitive people.
No, I think you can.
Oh,
so
you
we're
can.
done.
That's just not. It's one of those that you can get away with.
Yeah, yeah. So we're done with her, Kamar. You said.
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
You're going to rate it then?
I give it a 4.
You rated the week like a 1.5.
Because it showed up on the week.
Oh, and then Rhonda Patrick comes
And
up.
I'm thinking
That's
this
right.
is
That's
all.
getting a 0.
This is all we can hope
Sure.
for. This is all we can hope for.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to Rhonda Patrick.
Oh my god.
I give this one a 2. 2.5. That's rude of me.
This is as good as
2.5.
podcasts are going to get for a long time with Joe. It'd be much worse if they're talking about cancel culture.
Oh, I agree.
Like that.
I still just didn't love this
But
podcast.
it wasn't.
Yeah, I get it. There was no politics.
annoying
Yep. Yeah.
conversation.
I just felt like it was a rehashing of.
But comedy store stories.
Sure, but again, I'm just saying I don't need that in my life that much. I
thought a little more insight to Mitzi.
I like how you do a little salt day.
Yeah, a little bit of another Mitzi insight that she
All
was
right.
such a rebel. All the stem cell shit, you know what I mean? Like,
Fair enough.
you're signing off on me.
I'm going to.
I went 2.5, Simon,
yeah,
for the record.
I got a bunch of disclosures
he went 4.
to make here.
Okay.
I give
First, you're going to
this
say you like
episode
women. Yeah.
a 1.25. I think Joe ruined it. It enraged me. I had a
Okay,
really
so-
hard time
So
listening.
it has
to
nothing to do with Kerrigan.
No, she on this episode, despite Joe trying to just fucking tear her
giving
down
her a
at
4.
every step, I'm going to give her a 3.5.
Okay.
But I'll give her episode of the Skeptic Tank a 4.
He's rating.
As, as a satellite rating
Yeah.
for a different podcast
For Joe
that
Rogan's
we don't
for,
review.
For Simon's Skeptic Tank.
Tank, yeah.
So
exactly.
I often have a problem turning what's in my brain, and communicating it to you guys. You often can read or decipher Kamar. Do you understand him saying that he was tainted by the Shafir episode and may have a different opinion had he just listened to this with fresh ears? No. Do you understand the point that I'm making there?
I understand what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's a legitimate point
That's
because
fine.
I
That's
wasn't
fine.
tainted
That's
by
fine.
it.
I just want
if
to make sure it's
anything,
understood what
I
I'm
could
saying.
understand what this girl was capable of.
Can I ask you a question? After 3 years of doing this podcast, why is it that you now are not just 2 weeks behind on every other podcast? Because that's how you should be running things, right? So, like, if Lex drops a podcast, you wait 2 weeks to listen to it. If Ari
I
drops a
see.
podcast,
so I don't
you
fuck up my
Precisely,
life with this
yes.
podcast. That's smart, Matt. That's smart. Because I have so few things to listen to right now that when anything new comes out, I'm just like,
Consume the content.
I don't think this is going to help you then. Okay, come on. Are we taking a break now?
think
Or
so.
are we gonna,
Yeah, I
okay,
think
we'll
so.
take a break now. Oh, because you want to make Rhonda Patrick like a 5-minute breeze through.
No, I think there's a lot of quality stuff in there.
All right, we'll take a break. We might pay a bill. Who knows? And we'll be right back. I don't know if I'm going to play an ad this week. If we didn't, you need to go to onit.com. So you know what? I don't know what you're going to go to, but I'll put a link in the description because they are giving away Alpha Brain, and you should get it for free if you're in the States. If you're not in the States, you're probably fucked, to be completely honest.
Just
I'm
like
just
us.
being completely honest. Even
Just
I,
like us.
even I am telling you this. I cannot get the free Alpha Brain myself. I would love to try it.
did you turn that on?
Yeah, that's on. Everything's running. I would love to try it. I can't. So if you're in the States, try it. And try it knowing that you're so free to try it. And we can't because we live in communist China. So
Just another
keep
example.
just another, yeah. Oh, Simon, you're spilling Red Bull all over yourself, sir. I've never seen that happen.
If you do get it, though,
Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
you could send it to us, and then we could try it.
Sure. I'll tell you what, though. If you're one of these, if you're a real fan, and we know you exist out there, get everyone in your family to try it. Unless it costs shipping, in which case it probably does now that I think about it. There's probably some sort of, there's no way they're just giving away for free. But go
get it
find
for
out.
free and send it to
Go
us.
find out. There's only way you can find out if it's truly free or not is if you go, there'll be a link in the description. Go click on it.
Is there a promo code?
I don't know. That's the thing. They sent me the email. I should look at these
Sounds
before the
legit,
show.
man. Sounds legit.
I should look at these emails before the show. I looked at it yesterday and I thought to myself, there's no way I'll forget what's on here.
Get your Alpha Brain.
Get your Alpha Brain, yeah. But again, link will be in the description. Go get some Alpha Brain. That was probably the ad.
1701.
Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
So I want to start by saying this. You said last week, this is kind of what you hoped for. You fished your wish
This
almost.
is exactly, I nailed it out of the park.
Yeah, you really. I hated this episode. This was a shit episode. This is exactly what I said. I was like, I don't want someone else to come on and talk about it. Simon's not.
You're looking at me.
I can interject. I thought she might come out of the gates right away and just let's get into it. But instead, she said she was on keto,
Yeah.
and Joe asked her a very simple question: How do you feel? And she did the thing that I hate the most. She said, "Let's start with what keto is for 40 minutes," and she never answered how she felt. She never made that. Like you lost me. You know when you get hung up on the question and you just want to answer it, the question.
Well, she said she felt great. She said she was smarter. There's a reason.
But then she said it was such a hassle. It's so hard. So like,
and
I was confused.
she
I
must
was
be getting
confused.
some benefits from it to keep doing it because it's such a nuisance.
And I'm wondering, it has to be exponential. Would you not agree?
I would imagine if she's putting that much effort into it, then
It
she's
sounded like it
getting
was a
some
battle.
good,
It wouldn't have to be exponential. I mean, again, does it have to be exponential
Do
to
that
feel
much
better?
work to make you feel that much better.
I mean, listen, if you ask Joe, he puts in a ton of work and he feels 100 times better than every human on earth. So
she never actually answered how she felt. And then we got into infections and the healing power of concentrated oils like garlic and stuff. Have you ever had
she has what I have, right? Is that what we...
your
Yeah.
condition?
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Well, that's what she said. She's like, I have a thing on my butt. That's what she said. You didn't
I
catch
did
that?
not.
Actually, I
Catch that.
guess so, but
She said it was MRSA, though, and that's where I was lost. Is I was like, I don't have MRSA.
a different place. But that's where she was putting the oil or ingesting
Oh,
the
I
garlic.
see. The open sore she had. I didn't realize that was on her butt. That was MRSA.
Yeah.
And that's not what you
That's
have.
not what I have, no.
But have you tried putting garlic on your open wound?
Dude. Who do I live with? Tea tree oil. Like,
You have tried all
listen,
these things. Oh,
I've tried
great.
so much
That's
tea
great
tree
that
oil.
we
I'm
know so.
amazed I don't have the fucking tea tree tits they were talking about. Like,
What was she? Lift up your shirt. What was she talking about, though? Was it garlic that she put on the cut to make it?
These
she
were
said tea
treatments,
tree
yeah.
oil was
It was
the big
tea
one
tree
she was
oil,
using.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
It stings.
garlic.
Dude, tea tree oil stinks and stings like a motherfucker.
Oh, it stinks for sure.
Oh, yeah, it stinks to high hell, but it
you,
fucking hurts.
You use that. And
Dude, I've tried
and it
everything under the
didn't work.
sun. Yes.
So you were just listening like
The
she
only
doesn't know what
thing
she's
you
talking
were
about?
missing was the positive,
Yeah, maybe that's it. I need to change my mindset.
your mindset.
Well, what about? Because she says the placebo effect is so
Well, listen,
effective.
starting yesterday, I now feel like I can do anything
Yeah,
in the world. So
change is good.
yeah,
Feel that.
right. So
That's the biggest placebo effect of all.
like, I might grow wings and fly to Europe. Be the first human to fly under my own power across the ocean.
But you can't do that.
What is wrong with you?
I think you could.
Thank you.
Let's not take anything.
It's
off
actually
the table.
this is the problem. It's
Open
my
your mind,
friends have been
Simon.
holding me down this whole time. I think I'm open-minded and I've surrounded myself. I'm trying to be an eagle, and I've surrounded myself with
No,
seagulls.
man. That's interesting. If you had said to me, Simon, I want to open a fucking unicycle store that floats on a raft in the Ottawa River, I'd be like, cool, man. You do you. You could do that, but you cannot grow wings and fly to Europe. And anybody who tells you differently is just blowing smoke up your ass. Is there somebody who's trying to sell you wings?
No,
Don't hold them together with wax.
Kamar's already tried this.
Well,
He bought the thing online?
His
Hotep
dad,
Jesus.
His dad made him a pair, and they were
He bought the Hotep
filled
book, and
with
now he's
faulty
on.
glue.
I believe it's
Now he's on a mailing
it's the
list.
story of Icarus.
Gotcha.
That's it. Kamar.
Do you guys worry about your eyebrows?
Do I worry about my eyebrows all the
She
time?
started talking about having her eyebrows plucked,
I very much worry about mine.
and you pluck them.
Well, I get these weird. I don't pluck them, but I get these weird runaway hairs, like.
Oh, I'll have like a 9-inch, like
I call
Fu
those wise
Manchu.
brows.
And I
Yeah,
used
no,
to
those
make
gotta
fun
go.
of my dad so much for his
Well, they get horns when you get really old.
for
Yeah.
his
Look like owls.
eyebrows and for his ear hair, which I have both now. So
My grandfather on my dad's side, his eyebrows here eventually like attached to
the sideburn.
to the sideburn. Like it was all like to the ear, even like it was all one big thing. And
that's crazy.
yeah,
That's like having eyebrows that attach to your hairline.
yeah. Like, dude, my eyebrows used to end like here, and then just over time, now they're like down to here.
Mine have, you see, mine are disappearing here. I have the opposite effect.
But what is your eyebrow regime?
Zero.
I have one 9-inch one that comes right out of the middle that I have to pluck every like
Pluck,
4
you
weeks.
pluck,
Yeah,
pluck.
it's got to go.
When I get my hair cut, I say to the person, "Can you do my eyebrows?"
Mine
And
too,
they
yeah.
take their
Yeah, yeah,
comb
yeah.
and then they
I get that
fucking
done too,
raise
yeah.
across or
Yeah,
snip
yeah.
across.
That happened to me last week at the short. I barber.
You asked for it, or they
No,
gave
he
it
just
to you?
went for it. And
Wow, that's interesting. That means your eyebrow hairs were really long.
Well, it's just another situation where this country's falling apart and people telling you what to do.
I also like too though when the barber gets
Mandating eyebrow
the
cuts on.
straight razor out and gets on the back. That's
I like that.
Yeah, that's how you know you're getting the best cut.
That's quality.
They get the straight razor out and oof, yeah. Get the back of the neck. That's the real deal.
Her reason for coming is because she just finished another book about saunas, and you take the sauna, right?
Yes,
Simon
I
is
do.
a big sauna guy.
And you've incorporated the cold bath or
No cold bath.
cold shock.
I jump in the shower when I'm done.
and you don't wait for it to heat up.
I don't wait for it to the shower. No, I
cold.
jump into a cold shower. I'm so hot after I take a sauna. You remember Joe was talking about barrel saunas?
Yeah.
That's what Simon's got.
That's what I
That's
have.
what Simon. I've seen it with my eyes.
I wish I could see his eyes light. I was like, yeah, Joe.
They heat up so quickly. Like there's such a small space,
yeah.
and they get hot really fast, and like so fucking hot that like you can't even touch your head. It was so hot in there the other day, dude, that I was blowing on myself like, and my breath was burning my skin.
Yes.
I find that breathing through, I can't even breathe through my nose in there because it like burns my upper lip. Like you have to be like,
Yeah. And just sweat it out.
Anyways, I'm a huge believer in the sauna.
You felt amazing results from it.
I feel amazing from it. It helps. It just relaxes me. It helps me sleep. And if it's also doing all these other things that they're talking about, fucking amazing.
Well, I'm sure
I like a good, sorry to cut you off. I like a good sauna, but steam room. I'm more of a steam room guy. Again, you have to be rich or have access to one, neither of which I do. But like
you like the moisture.
before the pandemic, we would go to Nordique, like, I don't know, once every 2 months. The steam room there with the eucalyptus. Oh,
I
that
used
is
to
a
be
good
a big steam room fan. Then I started thinking about the steam room and what it is exactly. And you're like breathing in all that moisture. I don't care for it.
I feel great when I do it. I find it really clears me out.
I think they
Sorry,
talk about shock proteins and everything, but the bottom line is the hot, cold, I think stops your body from aging. It at least freezes it. Maybe not makes it younger, but it literally like resets every day and stops getting older. You know what I mean? Just stays where it is.
Maybe.
Because that's why Laird Hamilton's doing it, obviously. He's chasing fun of youth shit.
Well,
'Cause
what
it's
was
cheaper
Bill
than you
Burr's
wanna do.
bed? It was why does black not crack? Lotion. They use lotion.
And he also uses that cold lotion, which sells as a meme. She also told that if you go in a sauna with a butt plug, it cures depression.
I didn't hear her say that.
Me either.
She said they were doing infrared saunas with a rectal thermometer, and Joe was sort of like taking it back. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, it's silicone. It's very."
That was just to find out your body.
They want to know
temperature.
exactly how.
It's not a butt
wasn't
plug.
a butt plug.
What's the difference? It goes in your butt.
I'm sure if we brought in a rectal thermometer and a butt plug and said, Kamar, which one do you want to go up there? You'd be like, thermometer all day, thermometer.
I'm more
Actually, you
concerned
know what?
about-
You're probably a butt
I'm
plug
more
guy.
concerned about the sauna.
Come on, pulls out beads.
I brought my own.
Happy Mardi Gras.
I think the biggest.
He's a prop comic now.
I think the biggest lost opportunity was when she mentioned how she did the sauna with Rick Rubin.
Yeah, we want Rick Rubin on here.
You don't remember her?
Yeah, I remember she said it. Yeah.
And Joe, what's he like? You know, there's that thing where he loves music, but then he doesn't love music because it'd just be interesting that it was Rick Rubin and Dr. Rhonda Patrick.
It's just a miscue by Joe. He didn't catch it.
Isn't that
Just,
so interesting though too that like it, you would never assume when you're becoming a doctor like this will one day lead me to Rick Rubin's sauna.
Of course, like what?
Again, I'm going to fly to Europe under my own power.
And of everything we're talking about in this episode, I thought that was the most interesting thing and a lost opportunity.
This episode was so goddamn boring.
Then
Holy shit, was it boring.
and then
Yep.
Joe was like, I know guys with such bad cauliflower ear. that
She
they
didn't even
can't-
know what it
They
was.
can't put earplugs in there, and you just have to wear headphones. It wasn't like a end of the world thing, you know what I mean? And it's probably good for you if you go to concerts to have your cauliflower ear, and it's an easy fix. He just made it seem like it was a plight that we might have to raise awareness for.
Joe started a GoFundMe.
And it was weird that she had no idea what he's talking about,
That I found a bit odd.
and seemed almost squeamish at seeing it.
Well, I mean, whatever. I don't think she's that kind of doctor.
I would assume ignorantly, I'll admit that all doctors would be sort of like
Yeah, I think that's a big misconception, right? Like
there
you
are
could,
squeamish doctors.
yeah. It's like if you're a foot doc, no, that's probably a bad example.
Because that's the last thing you want, right? If someone's going to work on you or
whoa, easy. Yeah. What the hell? What was
believe
that?
it's
Yeah.
the bedside
Nothing. Sorry,
manner.
I just don't like blood.
I can't believe she didn't know what cauliflower ear was. That's fucking
It seemed odd,
ridiculous.
right?
Does she live in like a bunker on an island after World War II?
Well, here's the craziest thing, though. That this just dawned on me. It's not just that she didn't know what cauliflower ear was. It's that this was her 10th Joe Rogan experience, and she still didn't know what cauliflower. That's I think really crazy, is it
there's
not?
just a lot of sonic
She
confirmation.
doesn't give a shit about what Joe Rogan does. She's only on there to flog her wares.
Except I forgot to mention when she was going on a run-on sentence about keto, she was like, yeah, I eat a lot of sardines. He was like, oh, really? I ate a lot of sardines.
Yeah,
I had
high mercury.
And then
They've only how many times has she been on this program?
10.
They've talked about that story 10 times.
Maybe that was a problem.
Joe and the arsenic.
The fish oil, that's a weird thing, eh? That the ocean, of course, it's going to be like concentrated with crazy plastics and
Does he have to go to the bathroom?
whatever
or
else.
anything?
I don't know what his deal is.
Sorry, go what, Kamar?
Fish oil was a big thing they were talking about, but
Because she gets black market fish oil.
how good can the fish oil be?
If there's all the plastic in the ocean.
Just what we're doing in the ocean.
Well, this guy's raising his own fish at home, like free range cattle. And then, breeding them.
In fresh water at his house,
Yeah, in his bathtub.
and then he's making fresh fish oil out of them.
Yes, that you didn't get that.
Free range.
This guy is doing it for the love of the game.
The experiment.
The fish oil.
Only the freshest of fish oils. Gotcha.
I used to see it coming all the time, and like, who's taking this? But all these things to say is our attempts to try to lengthen life or slow down the aging process. That's the goal, I think.
I was taking fish oil for like a month and a half, and I had to stop because the gas I had was I couldn't be around people.
Really, that
You were
sounds bad.
taking like the actual oil or the capsules?
The capsules,
Really, eh?
dude. I couldn't be around myself. Like I was like I might be dying. Like whatever this is doing to me.
Did you smell like fish?
Well, yeah, when I sweat, it was like that was gross too. But I'm just saying, like, it was fucking awful.
And you picked it up because it was a new fad that was coming
You
out?
smelled like fish when you sweat.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, I think my sister was taking it, and she was like going
Fish
to be a
oil
nurse
is supposed
or
to
something.
be amazing.
Yeah, it's
for
supposed to be
you,
really
man.
good for
Like,
you. So
if you can handle the farts and the smelling like fish, you're gonna live a long time.
yeah, you know what? I just figure I'm probably not going to live that long regardless. So
And then I thought what the strangest part of this podcast when Joe revealed that the last 60 days he's been going to an Israeli standard hyperbolic chamber. Which I thought he could just say hyperbolic chamber. I thought it was weird that he said Israeli. But he's been sitting in one of those
his
iron...
flexes are so weird to me. Like, Joe, we get it. You're healthy.
No, but he used the example to describe, like, I know not everyone is trying as hard as I can. Like, they're saying you need 5 to 1 minute, so he does 50 to 2 hours, whatever. He's a thing of the extreme. But this is weird. That's what Michael Jackson did.
Yeah, but again, Joe, listen, this episode more than any single episode, 1,700 episodes, this was the one where I was like, this guy might actually, and I know I just said I'm going to fly to Europe under my own power, but this guy might actually think he is like above the world, above health, above science.
I
Like,
think he's gonna
he might think that he is just like I think Joe thinks in his head, like, I could never, ever get cancer. It is an impossibility.
He'd be
Like
stunned.
it's just not even on. Yeah.
The diagnosis would kill him.
And
the
that
shock.
that will,
Yes.
that will probably keep him from getting it. Placebo effect,
Well, that's where we started.
Maybe.
It may be the most powerful thing at the end of the day.
like that blind fucking faith.
But
Maybe.
I bet you there's a point in his career where he probably did a joke about Michael Jackson in the hyperbaric chamber. And look at him as he's come around. Because that's like, I think Kobe Bryant would do that stuff. Like, that is the top of the food chain thing you do to recover.
Which is ironic because this guy hosts a podcast and he's a UFC commentator.
He works out hard and he wants to live forever. I'm sure he thinks he's going to live to be 100. Confidently.
Yeah.
And again, would be surprised if...
Well,
I think he's going to be angry when he gets there.
in Joe's case, it's really interesting because he's convinced that exercise is going to keep him living a long time.
And
But
all these
he-
other things he's doing, obviously.
But a lot of these other things are to counterbalance the damage he's doing to himself doing the exercise.
Recovery, sort of.
You see what I'm saying?
Well, that's why I was wondering if all the work she's doing from keto is giving this exponential boost that it's worth. Because you know the expression hangry. I bet she gets hangry.
Well, keto, you're allowed to eat as much as you want.
Yeah.
It's
It's got to be fats and
yeah.
meat,
So
basically.
hangry is like when you're not allowed to eat.
No, it's just when you're hungry and angry.
She
at the
said
same
she had a
time.
bag of bacon in her thing because she, like, I don't know.
Keto's stupid. How you got to keep your levels at the number.
Now-
It just
now we're
like
talking. Now we're
what a
talking.
terrible fucking way to live. It's like living under oppression. It's
The worst way to
crazy.
start this, but I feel fine, which she never said. She could have just said that. I would have been way more happy with the answer.
Let's ask the question, though, right now. What is the amount of years extra tacked on at the end of your life? If we assume that, let's just say 80 is the average human lifespan. Let's just put it at 80 for now, right? So let's assume we're all going to live to that baseline, 80. What is the number of years you want to tack on to the end to live from now till then uncomfortably, let's just say?
So your physical.
So you're just constant. You're in a constant state of like
Not a day.
working
Not
on
a
your
day.
body, like nonstop,
Not a day.
hyperbaric chambers, hanging upside down. Not a day for you. That's your answer.
You never asked the question. So.
I did. That's the question. How many years do you tack on to that 80? Like how many years do you have to? So
to justify.
to justify living the next, like let's say you're
Under
45.
the oppression.
regimen.
Yes. So for the next
David
40,
Go-
so for the next
David
40
Goggins
years,
style.
yeah. So for the next 40 years, you got to live that David Goggins life, but you'll get an extra, you fill in the blank amount of years.
Yeah, but why can't those be good years at the end? Like if
Okay,
you're
but-
living right.
Well, this
then
is the thing.
maybe,
First of all-
80, you're still going to be feeling
That's the trick
great.
question.
And you can add another 20 years on. You can be 100
you're
and
phys-
feel
if you're
great.
fit- It is a fiddle?
Here's the thing, though. It's I think if you pulled up 90-year-old men, just in general, doesn't matter how they treated their body. I think at 90, if you're a man, it just ain't that great.
I've had enough of this shit.
You just don't see a lot of 80-year-old, like 90-year-old men that are, I don't know. It just doesn't happen that much, I find.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you're saying, I don't want any extra fucking shitty years at the end. You know what I
Not
mean?
shitty. I'm just saying, no, let's imagine they're all comfortable. They're not your best years, of course.
So they're comfortable.
Yes.
What is it worth to me? An extra 10 years? 20 years?
I'm asking the question.
Yeah, no, I'm debating between 10 and 20 years. Like 10 years, it depends on what I have to give up. You know?
I just told you, you got to live like David Goggins.
Oh, no.
For the next 35 years.
No years.
Not
I don't
a
want
day.
any more
Not a
years.
day.
Yeah.
Not a day.
Because I think about my grandfather, like I think he died when he was like 85 or 86. But like up until he got Alzheimer's, he was.
But if I just had to live like Joe, you know what I mean, Maddie? Like,
Look at Joe Biden. He's president of the United States.
Joe
76.
works out a little bit. He
No, but I think we just decided Joe doesn't just work out a little bit.
no,
He's
but
going
that's because Joe's.
he's going professional athlete.
But why does it
measures.
have to be Goggins? You know what I mean? Work out every day.
But we're
Take
using
the
Joe as-
sauna,
That's but we're
take
using-
the
hold on.
hyperballer chambic. Take all of
Hyper-
the.
Come on,
Chambic.
come on. Hyperbolic chamber.
Simon, what I'm saying is like we're using Joe kind of as the example here. Like that's why I'm not saying Goggins, but like Joe, for example.
Yeah, so to live like Joe, which most of the shit he does, like I think he could work out normally and then just pay for all the rest of the stuff.
I don't know, man. He works out. I bet Joe works out 2 hours a day.
I would do that for an extra 10, 15 years, I think. And if they're good years and I'm like in a great place in my life where I'm able to enjoy them, I don't know.
Listen, if it's
But
if
how
it's
do
just,
you know that?
I agree.
Like you could do all this
Hypothetical
work
question.
It's
and
a
get to that
hypothetical,
point
yes.
and be a
Basis
homeless
of the
guy
show.
and have to live an extra 20 years fucking
Well, at least you'd be fit as a fiddle.
in Elon's underground tunnels.
Well, then you'd be fit and you'd be the rat king down there, wouldn't
You
you?
would be the Rat King.
So, I mean, here we are.
Oh, so here we are.
Obviously, from all this exercise, has decided placebo effect. He's actually immune to COVID.
Yeah, 100%.
Like
Yeah, he's beat it 3 times.
that's what he's decided.
Now, let's keep in mind, though, because I was thinking about this the whole time. Joe could, there's nothing that says he couldn't be naturally immune to it.
Or what?
Those things
asymptomatic,
exist.
whatever that means.
No, immunity.
Literally,
Those things
actually immune.
That,
Rubber
that
and
exi-
COVID is
Joe could be patient 0, that we should be taking his blood
But
Like the
legitimately,
vampire movies, we should somehow get him from LA to New York,
get his antibodies.
get his antibodies into a fucking potion so we can save the world.
He could save the world.
No, but legit, he could be actually immune and just oblivious to that. And now because he's immune, he thinks, well, it's not as bad as it could be. I mean, listen,
He's decided.
Joe clearly cares more about anecdotal evidence than he does about any
Talking to a
doctors
doctor.
or
Talking to a
about
doctor.
any studies. My big problem here was he had Jamie pull up one website. I don't remember what website it was, so I can't comment on whether it was. I can't comment on the validity of the website. I'm not even saying that, but they pull up one website. Joe then uses that as gospel, and he's questioning her on everything she was bringing up. He's like,
the facts, the details.
yeah, well, how did they do this study? And it's like, well, Joe, she's a doctor. This is the other thing too. He kept being like, I remember at one point he goes, I don't know, I don't remember where I read it, but I read, and then he rings off something. And then I'm listening to her ring off her shit. She's quoting studies. She remembers the exact study it was in, and she's using, and again, she's not trying to use hyperbole. She's saying, this is just what the numbers from this study said. Even the one where she was like, this is only 800 people. So again, small sample size, but this is what the numbers say. This felt like a really tough one to listen to just because.
It's very hard to dispel anecdotal science with factual science.
Yes.
That's where we are now.
And it felt like Joe's doing it with his it's two anecdotes. He's not, I don't think it's like he has 15 friends that all.
And I think also because it feels like she sort of rushed it because she sort of said there was 8 major points. The whole thing just got convoluted, trying to break it down and defend as he was attacking with anecdotal evidence. But I thought she made excellent cases on why someone shouldn't be afraid of a vaccine over COVID. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Saying that if you get a vaccine, these things happen, and those things happen with COVID too. So that's not necessarily the cause. But I felt, like she said, there's certain people that should totally get vaccinated, but I don't know if everyone should get vaccinated. Or has to get vaccinated. I don't think she drew that line in the sand, but she was pro-vaccine.
Well, that's fine. We're not even, I've never, again, no one, I haven't never said I think everyone has to. I'm not sitting here saying that at all.
Yeah. But Joe is immune. And so he'll never change this position, and COVID has to go away for this madness or these interactions that keep happening to go away.
It just seems weird because it felt like a year ago Joe had people on like not Ian Edwards, who's the other black comedian. What's his name? The guy who had COVID and had it pretty bad.
Yes.
Alonzo. Was that it?
No, it wasn't
Alonzo.
It was
I forget
Michael.
his fucking name. Che. No.
No.
Come on.
Okay, either way,
Good-looking
we all know who
He
I'm talking
hosted
about.
Joe used to quote him as the example for fucking
He
ever.
was his test case.
Anyways, go on.
Either way, the point is
Michael
like
Yang.
Yay. Yo.
Yo.
Michael Yo.
Michael Yo, that was it. Like he came on and described like the opposite of what Joe now stands by COVID being. He was like, listen, it was a rough go. Like I felt there was a few days where it was touch and go, and now Joe seems to like forget about that and brush it off. Like no one young is dying. The comorbidities thing is ridiculous at this point. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that like someone brought it up on the Reddit, and I'd thought about it too. Everyone has comorbidities. I don't think there's anyone that lives a life free
For everything.
free of comorbidities.
I'm so sad that it feels like a viral infection
in our thinking.
Reddit. No, in our Reddit, like COVID isn't.
Oh, that's the only
The conversation
thing
be sexy pictures of Bigfoot or whatever, like UFOs.
Playing the sax.
Have you seen it?
Oh, you missed the sexy picture of
No,
Bigfoot.
We'll show it to you. Well, maybe we shouldn't be in the same room when you see it.
I thought
But it's infected our Reddit feed now. You know what I mean?
Well, the funny thing is
disappointed
that
in
it doesn't. I mean, actually that's not true. I was going to say it doesn't seem like there's a lot of people in the middle, but you don't tend to hear from them. There are people in the middle though, like
They're not can't be bothered probably.
there's that
Comment or
too.
whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. I listen. I don't know. I just know that some of Joe's Joe has comorbidities despite all of his exercise regimen. Like
He's decided he's immune, so it's irrelevant.
yeah, but you know what? I'm just trying to bring up the fact that like he keeps bringing up this thing that he thinks is like the deciding factor. Like he smokes weed. That's a doctor would consider that a comorbidity. We could all sit here and go, no, you know, it's not. It's
The Paris study clearly showed that smoking weed beats COVID. Okay?
Oh,
Matt?
well, if that's the case, then I'm killing it.
That was cigarettes, Simon. That was nicotine.
I'm pretty sure they somehow mixed
That's my antidote.
cannabis into that whole thing.
Fair enough. All
Sorry, I was just joking.
Yeah, yeah.
Drinking probably is a comorbidity.
Yeah, I assume drink. Like, listen, there's a
Of
lot
course, drinking is a comorbidity.
Sorry.
But so-
I'm just
Kamar-
being
Like you're
obvious. I'm
beating
just being
up
obvious.
your body so badly,
I wasn't
your
saying it wasn't.
liver, your
No, but here's
fucking everything.
living in a city of over 2 million people. I almost guarantee you that is a comorbidity on some sort of like, if you went to an insurance adjuster and asked them, I guarantee you living in a city of like, the more people, you know, your comorbidities go up exponentially, whether it's like air quality, just the odds of you getting hit by a car, stabbed to death, who the fuck knows, cop kills you. Yeah, comorbidities is a very weird one for me. And I also hate that Joe does the whole like, we spoke about this before, like if I have terminal brain cancer and I die in a car accident, they're not going to go, well, he had terminal brain cancer, so we got to put that on the reason of death. That's not how it works. I died in a car accident.
And that's why the COVID, when it has the other thing. Well, that was his big one. It's 4%.
No, it's four comorbidities. Wasn't that it?
I thought it was 4% of all the COVID deaths were just pure COVID deaths. Then all else had a comorbidity, whether it was 4 or.
But again, he never, like, it's always one of those things where he never pulls up any hard data. He just says, I read somewhere that.
When you're immune to something, you don't really care about the
He had
facts.
10 friends.
Yeah.
4 of them were okay. 6 of them felt kind of if. There's his numbers.
2 of them were young, got vaccinated, and had a very
Fine.
difficult
I just
time.
want some fucking, if I, you know, I don't have them, so I can't say one way or the other.
Yeah, but like I said, the only way this has got to go away, so these conversations go away. It's been enough.
I agree. But
I will say, I think it's really funny that, like, I don't know if you saw this, but like Michael Chandler, who's fighting, he's the guy that got KO'd by Charles Oliveira. He's new to the UFC. He's trying to fight in Madison Square Garden against Justin Gaethje, and they were saying that all the fighters and anyone at the event was going to have to be vaccinated. And he was like, there's a big problem with this. And he says in the interview, he goes, I'm not anti-vax, but I'm not taking anything that's not FDA approved.
Has been empty.
And then it gets FDA approved, and people start asking him, so you're going to get it now? And he's like, fuck no. And then he starts being like, the FDA has approved this and this. So I find that always a very funny, I find that a lot of people are saying,
A lot of goalposts are moving.
I've been seeing a lot of people do that recently too. Now, I agree with you. The FDA is corrupt as fuck. I'm not going to sit here and be like, just because the FDA approves, it means it's safe. We all know their track record.
They
That's
get
not
other funding from the pharmaceutical company.
if it, yeah, possibly. I mean, that,
But again,
you know what?
hold
That's
on.
probably the case.
saying that
it is
is
a fact.
saying that is also a dishonest thing, because if we tax the pharmaceutical companies to pay for these
Drugs be even more.
no, but what I'm saying is right now we might tax pharmaceutical companies to pay for the FDA. You would argue then that they pay for the FDA, but that's not really the case, right?
I don't know. I've read that they.
No,
fund
I
it.
see what you're saying. I don't think that's what he was saying, though, was
But
it?
we don't know. Is again, someone could. That happens a lot in media. We know that, where someone says the FDA is funded by the drug
Well, it
companies.
happens a lot in government, too.
I think it is factual, but I don't have it. I'm more of a Joe.
It's fine. I'm being a Joe too.
if-
I don't know either, Kamar.
If she said, I think, that if you're not vaccinated, you carry like a bigger load of the virus. That should be the crux of it all. You know what I mean? If that's true, if the people who are vaccinated and are getting, you know, COVID just out there willy-nilly and you're not carrying as much of that load, then that should be enough for everybody to just go, fuck.
I don't
you
want
know?
this.
Let's talk about a little elephant in the room too. The idea that like the powers that be, that they are trying to kill us with this thing is almost so obscene to me. I don't think people understand what the ruling class means. You can't have a ruling class without
People to rule. But wait, Matt, I don't really think that's the issue anymore. I think that's just an
Is it not?
excuse that
Okay.
people.
Okay.
It's simply not being told what to do, because like the drugs off the street, we all, me included, at one point we've all bought drugs off the street. You're putting that's Russian roulette. You know what I mean? Like,
well, less so. I mean, more so now. Like when we were growing up, you could buy Coke pretty confidently, right?
who knows? All you need is one dealer who was a fucking piece of shit.
I
You
get
know
it.
what I
My
mean?
point is just nowadays, I agree with. Yeah. Okay. Sure. I'm not trying to argue that. Yes.
Point is,
Yeah. You play. Of course you do.
look, that to me was like, because I kind of always thought that, but I didn't know that if that was true or not. That you carry more load. I didn't know if that was the case. And this whole thing seems to be about load.
I mean, the problem. Pause.
Life is about loads.
The problem, though, Simon, is like tomorrow Joe could have a Weinstein on who's like, well, what she doesn't know is that there was a report out of Geneva that said that, you know what I mean? And now we live in that world where there's almost, like I said, we have too much information.
No, the hardest part is the asymptomatic part. That you can fully get this thing and it does nothing to you. So then what are you afraid of?
Well,
You know what I mean?
again, you might have got it from a person who got a real small load, and had you got it from a person who had a massive load, who had put a big load on you,
But as
shot
he
a
said,
big load your way,
Despite what Joe thinks, there's people who could just be immune to it. No matter how big the load
as
is.
there probably are. But what is that like? What does that have to do with anything? Besides that, we should be getting their blood and using it to make a vaccine.
Well, I mean, hold on, Kamar. There's
should be
almost
heroes.
always a percentage of the population that's immune to like any virus. I'm pretty sure.
Or maybe even the
Like,
poisons or anything.
Yeah, didn't they find a tribe in Africa that was immune to AIDS?
I saw someone trying to make a joke that said, should we like expose every kid to peanut butter? Like when they're born, just to get rid of peanut
Well, yeah,
allergies?
they did that study where they gave the pregnant mothers that like it's like a peanut cracker type thing.
A little guy with a top hat
No.
goes and lays with her for a little bit.
no, they gave them this
You know the peanut with the
hey
top hat?
baby, yeah, the
Planters
monocle,
guy?
yeah.
it's the peanut, but he comes in a gimp suit.
Yeah. Not even. He just comes in a robe. Daddy's home. No, they gave they did a test where they gave a bunch of pregnant women not this little fucking cracker, and they gave these pregnant women this cracker, and the pregnant women that were given the cracker, their kids had like a huge decrease in peanut allergies and all sorts of shit like that.
Because of early exposure to it.
Yeah.
There you go.
In vitro.
Vaccinations are a good thing.
That's in the womb.
Rate it.
No, it's not.
I also, and I know that, like, listen, if we're going to be conspiracy about everything, I found it funny that Joe gets in this huge debate with a doctor about COVID who's like shitting on everything he feels. And then he's like, listen, it's been a tight 3 hours. I really got to go right this second. Like,
Dude.
we've seen Duncan and him fucking sit there and do mushrooms and talk about fuck all for 5
Should have
hours.
started off the top and saved the keto for the end.
He did not like what she was saying.
No.
he did not like
No.
what she was saying.
Probably not.
Unless it was sauna cures COVID and
Yeah.
Joe, you are immune.
Yeah.
No go.
Yeah.
No go.
It kind of felt that way, I
And
gotta
tr-
say.
And I would have been real interested. She played this super smart now that I think about it, waiting right to the end to talk about it. But if she had talked about it at the beginning, I wonder if it's a 1.5 hour podcast.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
We'll never know
well, I
because
bet,
she
I bet
played-
it probably could have been.
because she played it brilliantly.
She eases in with the sauna stuff.
Get
It's the compliment sandwich. Start on.
Just get all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
stuff out right away. What she should have done, though, is plugged her book right away.
Yeah, it's true. All right, well, let's rate it. We'll start with Kamar.
I give it a 1. All she had to do was her feelings on keto, and I would have given it a much higher score. I was
Kamar, I didn't want my feelings hurt about how I feel with things. She can go.
Now she
you can
she
go.
was pretty sane. I felt like she handled it all pretty well. Did you listen to that and like?
Well, I can understand why people get vaccinated. I don't say I don't understand what people are doing with their bodies. I don't feel that way.
No, but nothing changed for you.
A change about what? Like
Just you didn't hear that and was like, okay, maybe
the only reason I have to get
prudent
vaccinated
points.
is because it makes people around me uncomfortable. Like there's no,
That's why.
Yes.
At this point,
of course.
I have a better question, Simon, that might get to the bottom. How about this, Kamar? Listening to Joe argue her about COVID, did it make you feel like he sounded kind of like I don't know? Did it make you feel like he sounded wrong in the?
You can't be like Joe crushed her, or you like Joe smashes doctor. You know when that
I don't think
that
you
headline comes out there.
No, but I'm asking about how you
But
felt.
it's the fact that like there's people that it doesn't affect. Like it's not. I don't believe it's the killer virus. It is. That's it. That's it. I'm not worried about COVID killing me. at all.
But if you're like either
If I want to participate in society now, I have to get vaccinated.
that's not what I'm asking you though. I understand that you're going to have to get vaccinated because they're doing this stupid vaccination passport thing.
Yes.
I'm aware of that. But I'm just like, after listening to her and listening, I just found she was like, she didn't sound preachy. She just was kind of like laying out the facts. I was just wondering if you listened and was like, okay, I kind of see why beyond me, I see why I should help out.
But
like,
I
do
see
my
that
part.
The fact that vaccinated people get COVID,
Of course, but
it nullifies anything.
it doesn't nullify.
If you get the vaccine, we get rid of COVID, and you can't get it.
Even if they
That'd be the reason to get it.
Okay. I don't listen. I was just wondering. I don't want to get into a whole huge
Me
thing.
neither.
Let's move on then.
Let's move on. Did I rate it?
I don't even know if I did. I'll
I
give it
don't
a 2.
think I rated it.
I give it a 2.
You gave it a 1.
I give it a 1. Sorry.
What do you give it?
Did we already rate it?
He gave it a 1. I hadn't rated it yet, I don't
Okay.
think. I give it a 2. What do you give it?
I give it a.
You were about to rate it, and then you asked him a question.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I give it a 2, and for the exact same reasons as Kamar. Like, fucking bore me to timbers with the fucking.
This is a consensus. We're done with COVID.
That doesn't even make any sense. Bore me to timbers.
Bore me to wood.
Yeah,
Well, I guess it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I was thinking of like shivery
Bored you
timbers
stiff?
somehow. No, it was like a pirate thing. I don't even
Okay.
understand that. Yeah, but it was just so fucking boring. I wish that they had talked more about the COVID. I guess I can't believe I'm saying that, but
Rick Rubin was the one point that they could have talked about something.
no, she just like she didn't. Her purpose on here would have been to play the other side, and she spent way too much time fucking.
Chatting about saunas. Well, I don't think she thought there was like a hard, tight 3-hour limit.
No, she didn't realize they were going to leave enemies.
I don't think they left enemies. I mean, listen, I think this is why people listen to Joe, is that at the end of it, Joe still had a smile. Like, if I watched the last 20 minutes of it, he still genuinely looked happy to have her in there, like, despite their differences, whatever.
Yeah,
10
and
times.
We're not
gave
gonna-
her 3 hours.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm trying to find the fucking happy medium here. Like, we're not, I don't think being angry at each other all the time, not the three of us, but the world, I don't think that's getting us anywhere.
Saunas again. It was just, I don't know.
Chico, we've...
It was all that talk. It was all stuff we're aware of, waiting for the inevitable.
Yeah. Anyways,
Let's move on.
let's move on.
1702, Laurie Woolever.
Did you ever find out, Simon? Was this the only woman's week?
I couldn't find anything.
Like I said, I have a feeling that early on when he was doing like one a week, there was definitely a week where he probably had a female guest. And
That would count as an all-woman week.
Yeah, that would. But
by
if
the way,
it
I saw a
was-
clip from like 400 and something, like an early Joe Rogan the other day, where he hasn't changed at all. He was saying, he's like, they're going to tell us it's a flu, man. They're going to tell us it's a flu and it's going to kill us. And he's like, and I'm not changing. I'm not going to do anything. It's literally, he's saying exactly what he's...
America.
So he's very, I'll give him that. Good for you, Joe.
Joe said he couldn't watch the documentary.
I heard someone else say they couldn't watch it though because he's a junkie. They found it tiring. They were like, it's like,
Watching someone abuse her or something.
well, I heard them say they were like, it's tiring being around a junkie. They were like, if you've ever spent time around a junkie, it can be very like draining on you. And they said when they watched the movie, they got like that same feeling. I don't know why. Again, I've spent time around a couple.
But one of the reasons he said was he just couldn't get used to the fact that he's going to be listening to AI Tony's voice.
Such a cop out. She called him on it.
Well,
Right
no,
away.
she goes right away. It's only
like
2 minutes of things. Like,
yeah.
oh, really? Because he was getting all choked up. And I was like, how much did you look into this? Or are you... It almost seemed like he was acting how he thinks he should look in this situation.
Yeah, I should be disgusted that they used AI for this, right? That they didn't. That I should be.
I don't think
should
so.
feel
I
away.
don't think... even if they did do that, that's fine. But... Oh, really? Like, I thought he would have known that it wasn't all that. That was one of his reasons. Is Maynard Keenan just a dry sense of humor, or was that cold-hearted?
I think he probably
He's playing to his audience.
assumed that Joe
There
knew.
was no audience. It was just him talking to Joe. He
That's the
never-
audience.
Okay, I guess.
I'm just saying, like, listen,
Just a close friend, whatever.
we hear all the time Joe say, like, oh my God, if you saw what was in my text or my inbox, like, I believe that. Joe's a comedian, and I believe that Maynard knew, like, I don't think he knew that Joe would ever.
I think he assumed that Joe had already heard the news. I don't think
Okay.
he thought he was breaking the news to Joe like that.
You
I think that
find
was
out.
just
I
a way to
disagree.
like
I
talk
disagree.
about
You
an
found out.
uncomfortable thing.
You find out I die,
Yeah.
and you text Simon. Looks like Kamar's not going to make it to the podcast.
Well, I would never send that text. That's pretty crass. No.
That's pretty fucking crass.
That's how we feel. That's how. I mean, I think.
Keep in mind,
she
hold on.
felt that way about the story.
Everyone deals with everything differently, right? So, like,
Absolument.
if someone sent me that text, you know, I might in my head think like, oh, that's maybe not in the greatest taste, but again, what is me getting offended going to do? Like, you know,
Just rile you up for a bit. I thought it was weird when she was like, Joe was sort of trying to get insight, and she goes, well, I guess, you know, the papers were talking about his girlfriend was cheating on him, and I guess that was hard for him. Like, who would that not be hard for? I don't, like, that's enough. That's not a weird thing that your relationship, trials and tribulations are in newspapers. Like, that'd be, could you think of anything worse?
No, but I wonder if Joe was just confused because, you see, I thought that the girl was being accused of like
Pedophilia.
something untowards. Yeah.
With the, getting with a younger guy.
Yeah.
You think Joe's digging for that?
No, in my head, I don't know. For some reason, I never like put it as like an affair. I looked at it as like abuse. But you're right. It was just with a younger guy. It was.
And just to find that out privately would be shitty. Than have it all aired out. You really take our anonymity for granted. Sometimes when we say, look at rich people, not famous people or people in the public eye, and like,
dude, I've
they
said
must
it,
have a great life.
I've said it 100 times. I would rather have a successful mattress company that made like $4 million a year than be Brad Pitt.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the message you get from a lot of celebrities and stuff. But it's, again, everyone's base answer is, well, let me find out just to make sure.
It's like that clip of, there's this classic cut up clip of Kanye West on David Letterman. He's like, the paparazzi won't leave me and my family alone. And then it's hard cut to to a shot of Kanye West in his garage and this paparazzi yelling, hey Kanye, how you doing?
What is going on here?
Kanye yells out, fuck you, motherfucker.
He's a genius. He's a genius.
That's how I was laughing about that joke.
Yeah, on the skeptic
I
tank.
could not. I was like just crying and laughing and crying.
Can I double down, Simon? Forget anything.
And it's a throwaway line.
Yeah, that's the best part about it.
Forget anything I've told you to watch recently, other than please, you two, start as soon as you get home. Just go to South Park season 18 and just start there.
On
South
Crave?
Park season
Is
18.
it on Crave?
It's on Crave. 18 is incredible. 19, dude, Mr. Garrison is Trump, and it's the election between Giant Douche and Turd Sandwich. And it gets to the point where Mr. Garrison realizes he's going to win, and he doesn't want it. He's like, I don't want this. So he goes out and he tells her, he's like, please, I really don't want like any, dude, you have to watch this shit. I can't do it any justice. You're going to fucking die. And these member berries
Have you seen the guy kick the girl in the tit?
on what, South Park?
No, it's just a meme.
Oh no. I saw your Eric Andre clip though of the gorilla fucking him.
Wait, hey, you came around. You were way against it. You were way against that
That's
the first time
stupid.
around.
Are you talking from his show?
It was a movie short sort of thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Irish movie shorts. Yeah, sorry.
I think it was because
The reaction of the black
people,
people.
yeah.
It has nothing to do with him.
That's
It's
what exactly.
the
I didn't wanna say
reaction
it.
of, first of all, I didn't know there were like African American zoos, but apparently that's a thing. 'Cause
Maybe Atlanta.
Oh, I guess, yeah, maybe.
What do you mean African American zoos?
There was not a single white person. I've
That-
never,
yeah.
ever in my life been to a zoo and been like, oh, look, I'm the only white
It's usually
person.
They're not
multiracial.
stopping white people at the door.
Maybe they did for this.
Who knows, man?
For good
This-
reactions.
This one seems like they might have been like,
It was
this
only,
ain't for you.
It was only black animals in the zoo. That's what was going on.
Yeah, that too, yeah. You're a piece of shit. Okay.
Sorry.
Simon, can you pass me my, is there a weed drink in there?
Yeah.
I'm hoping there's a weed drink in there, but I don't think there is.
She described bringing her kid to jitsu, and it almost sounded like abuse. Like the kid was having convulsions in the back of the car. I don't want to go.
No
She
desire.
inside is like, you fucking pussy, do it. Whoa. Everything's coming up Floyd now.
I had to do that for my son. I remember taking him sometimes to martial arts, and he was just like so not into it.
Physically.
No, not physically, but
So I don't
like,
wanna go.
him
I don't wanna
saying
go.
I have a stomach ache, or just and then he'd get there and he'd have a good time, and then the next time I'd take him, he'd fucking put up a.
Does he still do it, or did he stop?
No, he stopped a long time ago.
Problem was my parents,
Those feelings won in him.
Yeah,
my parents put me in Taekwondo, which if you've ever done it, is just, you're like, this ain't it.
But were you like physically uncomfortable
No.
going to it?
Well,
Or
There's
were
nothing-
you wanting to do it actively.
No, the reason I didn't want to is because I was like, this is not ever like, to me, I felt like I was like, there's no application here in a real fight.
Break wood.
but out of all of them,
Yeah.
like karate, taekwondo, there weren't many back then. You know what I mean? Like,
But
what?
jujitsu was around.
No, it wasn't.
It was.
Oh, not
must
when
have
not
been
when I
around,
was
but
a kid.
not
It
as popular
wasn't.
as
It
it is
wasn't
now.
around. Like
It
you,
would have been tough to find for sure.
the fighting ones though, the stand up ones, like kung fu. But nobody, you could hardly find any kung fu places.
Is kung fu a thing?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
Okay. I thought it was just like a.
But
Yeah. No,
jiu-jitsu is
Jiu-jitsu.
the most practical of them all. For a layman to if I wanted to do
I
something.
mean, yay
You think
and
that?
nay.
Wrestling?
Yes, I guess. But like, if you're learning it to like fight on the street,
I think you
Is
learn
jujitsu what
I
you're
think you
learning?
learn
Learning to subdue
jujitsu.
your enemy
That's
and stop
precisely what I was
harming
going to
so
say.
you
Yeah.
know it, but you got to know how to fucking.
Well, yeah, you should learn some stand up as well. Yes.
But all these guys all say you should know how to run. If you can do that first, that should be your first option.
I mean,
Yeah, you should always avoid
if
the
I
fight.
had to do it right now, I would learn jujitsu, so I knew it, not focus too much. I don't care about being a black belt, and then I would do like some Thai kickboxing. You know, where it's all like knees and elbows.
Yeah, you got sharp
That's-
elbows.
I got sharp elbows and knees, man, and shins. I think I was made for that shit. Minus all the dislocating shoulders and
Sauna's gonna
pinched
fix all that.
nerves.
No, the sauna would have fixed
Stem
that by now.
cells.
Stem cells are going to
Stem
fix
cells will
that.
fix that.
This thing's going to go to the top, and then he'll blow his money on stem cells.
You know how Joe was saying that though? Was it what episode are we in?
It was the one with Elenor Kerrigan. They're talking about stem cells.
Oh.
Let's see.
Anyways, well,
No, we're talking about the next one now.
We are talking
we're
about
on the last
we're talking
one.
about Laurie Woolever, but you
but just
stem
stem
cells. we talked about
cells.
them in
They
that
were saying
episode.
like, of course, people would do that, have babies to abort them to sell the stem cells. People have babies to sell the babies,
But they don't
Like,
have to because the umbilical cord, I thought.
What do you mean?
People can have a baby and you can still get
Yeah,
stem
I know,
cells.
but they would if you could make money off selling stem cells from like aborted babies.
Why not?
People would do
You're throwing
that.
it out anyways.
What? Why are you looking
Waste
at
not
me
want.
like
Well, I'm just wondering.
the black market for everything exists, for organs, for
Yeah.
babies, for fucking pedophile, all of that shit. Like, of course they would.
But do they have I guess drugs are legal and they still sell illegal drugs. I'm just saying there's places where you get stem cells. Why would you have to go to the black market to do it? Or why would there be such a strong black market for it? Because it'd be so expensive and no poor person. There's a.
I think what he's saying is you shouldn't incentivize people to, like, right now let's say if you had to have an abortion, but they were going to give you like 20 grand for the aborted fetus, right?
Be a bad
Because
incentive.
that was the stem cells they were going to get from it. Yeah, that would be a big fucking problem for sure. I agree with that. If that's what you were saying.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
'cause
Okay.
you would
Sorry.
just have
I'm trying to
girls-
agree. Yes.
But
Or
it's just
women,
that's
rather.
that's Project Veritas stuff with Planned Parenthood. That was the story there.
Planned Parenthood is like So sorry, what?
In America, that was a conspiracy story that Planned Parenthood was selling fetuses out the back door. I don't think it ever got proven it's true.
Well, I mean, Planned Parenthood is a pretty evil thing, so it wouldn't surprise me.
She met him through Mary Batali,
Who's a real piece of shit.
who was a celebrity chef who got Me Too.
Forget the Me Too. I mean, that's bad, but you never heard what he did to his staff? There was like a class action lawsuit against him for millions, millions of dollars because he was stealing tips from the wait staff.
I feel
Really?
No, where's Jamie?
that's something they skimmed over. But I will say, I went to his restaurant in New York City,
Which one?
Babel.
Jambon? Oh, okay.
and it's I still think the best dinner I've ever had. I think I can say that with authority. Have you ever gone to? What's your favorite restaurant or experience? Like you know how Joe goes. Artists. There's times where the music's amazing, the service is amazing,
Yeah.
the food is amazing.
Yeah.
It happens.
I don't remember, man. I don't remember.
Oh, Babbo was mine. Do you have one?
Yeah, I had a few in New York. I don't remember any of their names. Like my aunt, for example, when she was opening her second restaurant, she came to New York with her architect friend and his wife and my uncle, and they went to like a super high-end bougie restaurant every night, and every night they called me and were like, hey, and again, I'd been living off like $1 slice of pizza every night, so that week was like my dream. But dude, we went to one restaurant where I walked in and it looked like nothing. Like I was like, I got to be in the wrong place. It looked like just a small bar. And then the maitre d' walks me down this like insane, windy Spanish staircase. And then we get to the bottom. It's not actually floating, but the whole dining room has water under it. And like there's like a babbling creek
And the food
around
was
the,
good.
Oh my God, fucking staggering.
We went to an Italian restaurant and we were all excited in New York City about they had the prosciutto on the wheel. We went there and like, whoa, this is a real authentic place, you know what I mean? And it could have just been, there was like 40 Italian restaurants, but
I'm sure.
that meal, that experience, I thought was really good.
I don't remember anything anymore. Like somebody was telling me something the other day, obviously. Jesse was telling me something in that text chain about some place I had been or something I had done. And I just I have no recollection.
Congratulations, Jesse, by the way.
Oh, real quick. Mario Batali will pay $5.25 million to settle tip skimming lawsuit.
What a grease bell.
Grease bell. That's like the worst. You got to be a real piece of shit though,
Especially if you're successful, just to take that
to
little
skim
the
off
tips.
of the fucking minimum wage employee. Like you got to be a real fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, especially a guy like that who's like a fucking bagillionaire.
That's our point. You're already
that's
rich
it.
and you're skimming. Like, come on, man, get fucked.
He's no Elon.
No, trust me, Elon is stealing from his fucking
Yeah.
people too.
Well, he's
Fucking
turning his people into
shyster.
robots, so they don't have to skim anything. Joe got way too offended by the existence of shorthand, I thought.
I need to see it. I don't even understand what the
But
fuck it
doesn't
is.
it just makes it's a jot form that some people can learn to make your notes, and then you go back and if you don't have audio or whatever. I'm sure it's on the way
To be
out.
honest, I thought shorthand just meant you were like writing words, half of the sentence.
I think so.
No, it's not. It's like, hold on.
Well, if
I'm pretty sure there are like different words for words.
there were multiple.
Because like, what is
You
a
shorten
stenographer
the
like?
words.
A course stenographer. There's not
letters.
there's not 4 buttons on there.
That's what he said, man.
That's what he said. I don't think that's true.
Okay.
I don't know
hold
if he did the dip dive, but that's very interesting. I always wonder what they're actually putting because I was sitting for my trial.
Yeah.
I'd like to get. I think I got the readout.
Yeah.
Oh, did
so
you? You got
Not
the
of the stenographer,
transcript?
but I think so.
Kamar,
Interesting.
shorthand is an abbreviated symbolic writing system method that increases speed and brevity of writing as compared to longhand, a more common method of a writing. That's us.
Why would they say more common?
I don't know.
It's not more common. It's
the
what
only-
everyone
it's the only
uses.
thing you got.
What are we doing here?
The process of writing in shorthand is called stenography, from the Greek stenos, narrow, and graphine, to write. Many forms of shorthand exist. But like the one they were looking at, it's literally just like, did you even look at it?
I thought there was 2 there. Or is that one whole alphabet?
That's the whole.
So then, what
group
is
of
the
letters
stenographer's
used.
fucking?
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
Here's
that
the question
now.
though. Like, let's ask this: in this day and age, with all the technology we have, like, you could record a court hearing on your fucking iPhone. Why do we still
I don't
have
know.
stenographers? Like, what the fuck?
Well, this is one of the things that I talk about with Joe, and he's always bummed when there's podcasts with more than 3 employees or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's not necessary, but you are providing work for people.
Well, listen, he's a weirdo.
People
Like,
have jobs, you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit of a, like, if they're getting paid, like, what do you care?
well, the weird thing is Joe, like, his makes a staggering amount of money. He could have 1 or 2 more people. You know what I mean?
Or, well, we don't know. He might be paying a lot for security, as you've heard in the past.
Fine, that's fine. My point though is like, if we could get a few people, if we made enough money where we could hire a few people, you better fucking believe I'd hire them.
We'd be giving him a run for this money.
Well, I just like you said, not only are you creating jobs, you create a team. It's like, you get more people involved. You have more
Collaboration.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think you have to have a network to do a podcast, but if someone is making enough money that they can hire a couple of people, it's better than.
I gotta say though, dude, I watched Portnoy ream one of his employees out this week. This guy that has like a football podcast.
And it wasn't on like a funny.
No, it's funny. It's always entertaining. Didn't ream out like it's Dave. Even when he's reaming someone out, it's kind of entertaining. But just like, it made me realize like the amount of work that goes into like if we ever wanted this thing, and I don't know how Joe, again, I think he just got lucky where he is who he is, but it's fucking like to have a successful podcast that really pays the bills. I don't think
It's a
is
full-time
easy
job.
at all.
It's a full-time job, obviously, as it would be. It wouldn't make sense that you would do something not all totally engulfing and get full results. You know
No,
what I
of
mean?
course, yeah. Simon, what do you have there?
So a court stenographer machine there. This is what, can you see that? It's got like,
Well, it looks like it's like 9 or
2,
8.
4, 6, 8, 10 letters on one side. And then there's the star in the middle and then 8 letters on the other and 4 at the bottom. Just vowels at the bottom, 4 vowels, A, O, E, U. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Listen to this. Okay. This is how a stenographer works. These stenotype machines work by typing in symbols rather than letters. And I was like, what are you talking about? By pressing 3 keys at once, called a chord, they make the syllable cal, then n, then dar. In the time it takes us to type 3 individual letters, a stenographer can type an entire word with the help of it. It's fucking useless, man. Just record the shit.
That definitely sounds like some.
You're just trying to get rid of a
super
job.
archaic fucking.
Yeah, they're using letters on the machine, so you could just put all of the letters, but instead they're turning them into chords to make symbols.
But
That's
see,
gotta
Kamar,
be a
this
course.
sounds like the old what's that the equivalent, like the horse trolley. You know what I mean?
Conductor?
Like, well, you just like eventually that job has to go away.
Oh,
You
no,
can't just be like you're
I'm
taking.
I'm joking. Being
No, I know you are,
facetious
but
here.
yeah, it's like this has got to go. But I think it's a. But Kamar,
Someone has to defend it, or we just sound stupid.
no,
If
what I
this-
wanted to say was this. I wasn't trying to say that. What I was really trying to say was it seems like a scam where they've created this like. No, we're
Stenographers
we're
union?
we're
Well,
hard
yeah,
to find.
If the
Few and far
stenographer
between.
goes, then who's going to make the, like, they're going to have nobody to sell the stenographer
Handbook.
fucking
That's what I'm
things
saying.
to.
It's a big. It's
And then who's going to have the ribbon and like,
It's an industry. Come on,
it's
man.
big oil.
Who's making the fucking computers?
It's big.
Follow
This
the
whole
money.
thing is big fucking
Big
oil.
Steno.
No, but it's the same argument, right? Like, you can't take away big oil because then, like, who's going to fucking run the gas
Too big an
stations?
industry. Go ahead, Kamar.
Tony.
I love that one of your notes is just faux.
Tony.
Don't call him Tony. Unless it's Hinchcliffe.
Mr. Bourdain never planned for any of this. Right? So he wrote Kitchen Confidential. And boom. She said he was like, I'm not even a great chef. So it's like he never expected any of this, and being put on the pedestal was just too much for him. And like he said repeatedly how he felt like a fraud because he's
It wasn't
more
too
famous
much
than
for
a
him. He
chef,
was famous for 30 years or 20 years.
No, 30 years was up until he wrote Kitchen Confidential.
I get it, but then
in
I'm
his
saying he
40s.
was, yeah, but then he spent 20 years being famous.
And he didn't want to be that ever.
Well, I'm just saying. It's a weird thing though. Like,
She's saying he went along saying, I feel like a fraud. Like,
yeah, I get that.
And it's imposter syndrome, they call it.
I understand that, but it's a weird flex to me. Like, if you don't want to be famous, you probably shouldn't ever write a book.
There's no way he even wrote that book saying this is going to be a best. Have you read it?
No.
But hold on, if you don't want to be famous, so write the book, and when they come to you and are like, do you want to make a TV show about this?
Say no.
No.
Well,
No, I don't. I want to work in my kitchen, and I want to fucking go to my house in the country, and I want to be happy.
I guess he had to, if you're saying he was famous for 20 years, he had 10 years to figure out and get the fuck out of it for his sanity. But
No, but people make it, listen, this is taking nothing away from him, but people make it seem like you can't say no.
I've heard
You
people
can say no.
I've heard people say, though, once the ball is rolling, then there are people depending on you. So you saying no isn't just for you, like other people may, you know what I mean? That comes into people's thinking.
Yeah, totally, I guess. But then, yeah, okay, sure. You have people to take care of. I can dig with that.
That's a pressure all of a sudden. And like I said, when he first, sure, I'll do a show on CNN and it'll be off in a year and I'll do something else. And then his talent, like, it's beautiful and he's successful because he didn't want to be.
I know, but he wanted to be on TV. I don't believe that. He kept doing
That's how I
different
feel,
shows. After the first one was successful and his book was, he could have said, fuck this. He could have moved to Africa like Dave Chappelle. Like, I don't buy that shit, man. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to speak ill of the dead.
I wonder, man.
I also personally, this is going to sound crass without a doubt, but I'm going to say it either way. It's just such a selfish thing to do. I get it. You're tired and you can do whatever you want. Like if you're really done with this and you want to go, like I think assisted suicide should be legal. I don't understand why we force people to live in pain to any degree. If you want to go, but just realize that the last thing you're doing is like the most selfish fucking thing you could do. End of story. Especially if you're talking about those people that depend on you. He made 2 people cry, 2 adults cry on this podcast. You know what I mean? That's just 2 people in the world. So like I don't know. I just think,
Suicide's not the best thing to do.
no, you shouldn't. Listen, there's someone out there who loves you. There's probably someone out there who's willing to help you.
Yeah, and there's probably a different way of looking at the situation you're looking at. Like, I was listening to the Skanks last week, and they were talking about that documentary about the bridge in San Francisco, or Brooklyn Bridge. They filmed it for a year, watching all these
the
people
jumpers, the
jump
Bay
off
Bridge.
of it. And one guy lived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Dave Smith who was talking about this. And he was like, and this guy's thing was really poignant because he was like, the second I stepped off the ledge, I realized
regret.
I made a mistake. And the thought that went through my head was every other problem, I'm going to get this wrong, but it was something like every other problem I had up to this point, I realized
Was irrelevant.
no, that I could do something about, except for this one. This one was too late.
But this is coming from someone who did it and survived.
Well, that goes back to that old.
Well, what do you mean?
What's the old?
You wouldn't know what went through their head right before they killed themselves unless if they died.
Yeah, and I guess he could be
yeah,
lying.
but again, he thought
Well,
he
what
was
do you
going to
mean?
die.
Yes.
So
His intention was to die.
He jumped off a bridge, realized this, and survived.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, it's like that old Confucius saying that who was the Indian guy that we all gave a 5 to except for Simon? What was the Confucius saying? It was every man has 2 lives. The second begins when we realize we only have one.
Interesting.
Challenging activities make ordinary life easier. I think that's a good rule of thumb to try to exercise or do something, you know what I mean? Look at it, that is what you're trying to achieve. Not gain weight or lose weight or whatever. You're just trying to do something that's harder than normal shit, and the normal shit is easier.
I do these kettlebells where it's like you do 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. So those are the reps. And it's so funny because you'd think that by the time you get to 2, you're like, this is fucking like, I've already done.
No way you're beat, man.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, you'd think by the time you get there, you're like, okay, there's only 2 left. Like, this is the easiest stretch of this. 2 and then a 50-meter walk and then you're done. But those 2, sometimes you're just like, holy fuck. Like,
And when you do it, it's not a crazy workout or whatever, but you do feel a sense of accomplishment.
no, I've done one every day for the last 30 days. And to be honest, like, I don't notice any difference. I don't feel.
But would you be bummed if you didn't do it?
I would be bummed knowing that I set out to work out every day and that I didn't. Yeah. Cause I've done that a million times already. So, but again, it was like drinking. I always said I was like, I'm going to quit drinking. And then I never did. And then I'd say it and not do it, say it and not do it. I always come around. It might take me 10 years, but I'll fucking get there. Back to her. Pho.
Well, no,
I see pho there.
He came up. What's fa?
Sorry. Yes, I know it's pho. I just
Which it could be fa because it's o, which makes an ah sound, and there's no vowel to make it the long o. I always call it pho because we have it just up the street here. Pho-bo-go.
yeah. Pho-bo-gola.
Most of the names are only funny if it's pho.
Of course,
and
because
not
fa la
right?
ba
So
go. Yeah.
that's
But
why
it's actually
I think it's pho.
Fabaga.
I don't think it is
Have you ever seen the Schulz bit about this?
pho.
Yeah.
No.
Where he's like, trust me, it's pho. He's like, what country are we in? And then he talks about, he's like, have you ever seen their names? He's like, what's your last name? And they're like, Win. And he's like, yeah. How do you spell Win? And he's like, how do you think you spell Win? He's like, I don't know, W-I-N. And he's like, what if I told you there's an N, a G, a Y? And he's like, no fucking way, dude. He's like, oh yeah. I just think that's fucking hilarious.
I thought it was just funny. Joe was calling fa. They also talked about Stephen King again.
Stephen King gets more. I swear to God, he lives in Joe's head rent free. He's been living there for a long time.
In this situation, though, it was more like, thank God he did the also abuse.
Thank God he
drugs and
abused,
all
yeah.
that stuff too.
Who? What? Where? Sorry.
Stephen King. Joe is thankful that Stephen King did copious amounts of coke because he doesn't feel like he would have written as much good shit without that cocaine influence.
Especially stuff he doesn't even remember writing. That's always a great one, man.
Isn't that funny though? Like when I got drunk, I would always wake up to like a mess I had created. I never woke up drunk.
made me $1
I
million.
never woke up drunk like, look at this masterpiece I created in this stupor.
I've never got drunk and woken up with like a really good job.
Yeah, never. One time, I can remember one single time I woke up in my apartment in Sandy Hill and there was like a stack of hundreds and a bunch of $25 chips from the casino. And I didn't remember a fucking thing.
Yeah, that's 1 in 100,000.
Dude, most of the time it was like I left my wallet in a
That
cab
sounds
with like
cool.
$1,200 in it.
Then he said to her, I have very many people on this podcast I disagree with.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that's true. If I was going to take one note this week, it was that is the case. I don't think he has that many people he disagrees with.
Do you
and when he
not
has
wish-
them, he cuts them off early.
Would you not wish he had a little sticker that goes up on the screen on every episode that goes, I don't disagree with this. Just full disclosure at the end of it. No matter what you saw,
Do you know what it feels like,
our
Kamar?
interaction, I wasn't into it.
It feels like, you know how sometimes someone will post something on Instagram now and there'll be something about COVID. And then at the bottom, there's
From
that big
Instagram?
No, well, I'm saying the person will write something about COVID in their little thing, and then Instagram will have the giant thing at the bottom where it's like COVID-19, whatever. It feels like that, where like Joe says something like this, and a warning should kind of slide up on the screen, just warning us, like, Joe, this one probably is a lie.
Well, I feel like he was acting like it'd be like 40% of the people on the show I disagree. Very many people I don't disagree with.
I think
It
maybe
can't
it's,
be one comic. There's no comics. Is it Mike Baker? I don't know.
nope. Well, no, it's true because think about it. Anyone he brings on scientifically, he obviously he doesn't bring them on to argue with them.
Or is it the one person is Adam ruins everything? Is
He argued with Adam, ruins
very
everything.
many people.
Yeah,
He constitutes very many people.
I think it's also because Rhonda Patrick was on the day before. So in his head, he was like, I've brought her on 10 times, forgetting that 9 times he agreed with her.
Wow. He hasn't remembered any time he's been with her. I thought this was just, she was talking about how she was an alcoholic and how she sees in kitchen life. The idea was it's so stressful that you drink after. And I've always thought it was more you see everyone drinking and enjoying themselves. That's your job, is to see people like live it up. You want to live it up after.
It's because the booze is there. Sorry. Just like I was just thinking, every job is stressful. At the end of every shift, you want to drink. It just, if you work at like the Bay, you probably don't have that easy access. You have to go to a bar. If you're already in a bar.
But it's like, it's par for the course with the hospitality industry. I mean, I if you looked at my career, I'm a waiter first by like what I've done the most of. And that's one of the reasons I wanted out of the industry. It's because it's so inevitable. Like, I do not think at a vegetarian restaurant that doesn't serve alcohol, there's a party culture. There might be a yoga class after, but it's more like If I'm working all night and seeing people ordering bottles of wine and martinis, I feel like I want to have a treat at the end of the evening. Like, these people look like they enjoy themselves.
Dude,
I think that's the trappings.
I woke up at Ritual to Graham waking me up and being like, dude, it's 9 p.m. You have to open the bar. Like, constant. Babylon, same thing. Like, and I don't know what it was now that you mention it. Because when you said it, like, I thought this is what it was. I don't know. I have no idea. Because a restaurant doesn't make sense. Like, you see people enjoying a meal. It doesn't mean you have to get shit-faced wasted because you watch them enjoy a meal.
It's because it's there. It's on hand.
Well,
her reason was they work so hard to give these people a nice time. They have to decompress by getting wasted.
If they opened up troughs full of Coke at the end of the night, that's what people would do.
They do. There are restaurants where they do.
Okay,
they
well, there you go.
I guess the proof is in the pudding. Spicy foods in hot climates.
Thailand, dude. Holy
Doesn't
fuck.
that make sense to you, though?
Oh,
to,
shit.
Like, increase your body temperature when you can't do anything about the outside temperature?
That was supposed to be my hate of the week, Maddie.
What?
Because speaking of Mexican food being hot, there's this great Mexican restaurant. First of all, you both need to try it.
In Ottawa.
It's fucking incredible.
Love to.
Their specialty,
The fuck is it called?
I think it's called Casa Mexicana. I'll get you the details. I'll send it to you.
Where is it?
It's on like Maryville Road or something.
Okay.
Some little hole in the wall. My daughter told me about it. She's like hip to the jive, you know, finds all the underground places. Their specialty is this thing. I think it's called the burrata. I'm not sure. It's like
Big ball of cheese that
no.
just comes
No.
That's burrata.
It's a taco.
Yeah.
So it's not a burrata. It's a bruschetta. I don't fucking
Burrata's
know.
Italian anyways.
Okay.
It's a taco.
Yeah.
Like in a taco shell, a soft
Gotcha.
shell though.
Yeah. Corn.
Corn.
Yeah. So there's two of them.
I prefer
It's got
flour.
like shredded
prefer
beef
flour
on
as
the
well.
inside,
Yeah.
but they call it like a beef stew. It's amazing. It's got like
So it's beef
vegetables.
barbacoa?
In it. It's
Oh, no. Okay.
but it's not. It's
Okay.
something different because they
Barbacoa,
also
let's
have
go.
barbacoa on the menu that you can buy.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Then they take that. There's cheese in it, but then they put cheese on the outside and they deep fry the whole thing.
Oh.
Dude, don't even fuck around.
Is it a food
Okay?
truck?
It might be a food truck. I don't know. I've never been there. We ordered it.
Because I don't want to go to a restaurant for tacos.
Listen, if
I don't
it's
want
Why is
tacos out
that?
of a food truck or a vendor.
Kamar,
Because you
if
don't want to
it-
eat them in public?
It's not a sit down.
if it's a
not that. It's not
restaurant,
sit-down
it's
meal.
a fucking takeout joint.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Anyways, this place, amazing. What I'm hating on, we ordered chips and pico de gallo,
Yeah.
which is just fancy way of saying fucking salsa without the tomato sauce, you know?
Yep.
I took one bite of this thing.
Of the pico de gallo?
Dude, it's like I entered your hot chip challenge. It was so fucking bad. I had to like run my tongue underneath the water. It was horrible.
Picante.
It ruined the whole meal. The whole meal.
But it's still
You're
amazing.
saying the pico de gallo.
Matt, the
Was
pico
so
de gallo
hot.
was one of the hottest things
There's no
I've ever
fucking
eaten
way.
in my
Did you
life.
just get
Phone
out-
my wife right now and ask her.
No
Did you
fucking
just get
way.
a crazy hot spot? Or did you eat that?
No,
Thing?
I
No
took
one
it on
touched-
multiple bites.
You did.
It was so good. I kept
So wait, you're a
eating
glutton
it.
for pain
Dude,
too?
it
What
was-
is going on here?
It was one of those
It
things.
ruined the meal, but
where
I couldn't
it
stop
was-
ruining the meal.
It was sitting
You
there.
ruined the meal.
Dude, this food is so good. It's so authentic. It was so fucking good.
Simon, I do know that feeling though. I'm a glutton for that heat too sometimes where I'm like, it's too hot. And then Mary's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know.
It wasn't even the heat, Matt. Sometimes I'm with you. Like sometimes I'll be eating and I'll have a hot sauce that I really like and it really hits me hard, but then I'll do it again. This was like the food was so good that I wanted more of the pico de gallo. And in order to get that, I ate the second bite. Total mistake. The second bite was so much worse than the first bite.
It's always funny because
But
whenever
it
I
was
have
the best food you ever had.
Thinking about it right now is making me sweat.
Mexican food in Ottawa though, I'm always like, yeah, this is good. And then you go to like when we go to Florida, even Sarasota, the Mexican food down there is just fucking.
I'm with you. This is like the exception to the rule. Anyways, this place has got to put some sort of disclaimer like
On the pico de gallo.
normal people, if you think pico de gallo is like something to cool your taco down, think again.
Well, it's like I said, when I was in Thailand, we were looking at a menu and they always have it's in Thai and in English and they're just numbered. And I noticed that a couple of them, there was like, they would skip a number in English. I was like, and I remember saying to her, I was like, where's 33? And the woman, no word of a lie, she looks at me and she goes, not for you. And I went, what do you mean not for me? Yeah, she was like, and my aunt looked at me and was like, trust me, If they're
Yeah,
telling you it's
that's
not for
not on the
you,
menu.
they were like, it's not for fucking you. And I remember like even the shit that they said mild over there. I was like, mother of God. I wiped my eye one night in Thailand, and I guess I had gotten everything has fucking chilies on it, and that ruined my night. It was over. It was over. Johnny, Mary, everyone
This
was
would
laughing.
be the equivalent, though. Like they're warning you there. You can't eat it. It's not even
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the menu.
yeah.
This would be the equivalent
of
of
them
like,
suggesting it.
giving you cereal with milk, and that milk just being like on fuego, you know, and you go to eat your first bite and you just fucked.
Simon, in the future, you want to eat this again sometime? Experience the food.
Oh, to get those fucking whatever they're called.
Okay. Secondary, will you just avoid the pico de gallo?
Yeah, man, I won't get the pico
You
de
won't?
gallo.
Okay,
again.
okay.
Yeah. I'll just
You're just
have
gonna
No,
go
I'll
with the
be
deep
ruining
fried
the meat again.
burrata.
whatever it is, borchita.
You're gonna have it
I don't
and miss
know.
it and bring it back in.
Is this place on Uber
Broken
Eats, or
cherry.
you had to order it? Like,
No,
did someone have to go pick it
we
up? I don't
ordered
understand
it.
what happened.
We ordered it.
And they delivered it.
It was Uber Eats. I watched the guy on the little fucking thing.
Yeah, that's what I asked. It was
He
Uber
picked-
Eats. Okay.
He picked up the food. This is what the guy did, okay?
No, don't do this.
No,
Just
I'm going to tell you. He picked up the food. He went around the corner from the restaurant. He stopped.
he ate some of the food.
He's that guy watching.
And then he didn't move for like 25 minutes. Dude, I was
motherfucker.
so angry at fucking Awuja
He got himself. He knew how
like-
good it was.
You know what that sounds like to me, though? He showed up at the restaurant early, pulled over because he had to wait for the food to still be cooked.
Interesting.
That's
exactly what happened. Yeah.
I never thought of that.
So he thought he just picked up your food and then looked at
Yeah.
it like, he can wait.
I assumed he was doing
smells
other
so good.
deliveries. I assume they have some intricate fucking system going on where like they're dropping 4 meals off in one
They
shift.
do
I
that
think they
too.
tried to
They do
consolidate
that
it,
too.
yeah.
Either way, he took a long time.
Was it cold?
No, it was warm. It's fine.
Did you tip him?
Yeah,
Life goes on.
you got to tip.
They
them
don't really give you a
before
fucking
they-
option.
No, and it's before you find out if the guy sat there for 25 minutes. You've already tipped him.
No, you have not. That's not how it works. You
Oh,
can
it's
edit
not?
your tip after
Yeah,
they've
really?
dropped it off. You
Well,
can
there you
change
go.
it, whatever. That's why it's like 2 hours later where it's like so and so says thanks for the tip because they haven't gotten it they don't get it right away. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah,
The more you know.
my wife did it. I don't know.
Oh, there you
It's
go.
all magic to me.
It may be cliche or crass, but I just think at the end of the day, he went out like a rock star. It's that kind of suicide, you know what I mean? It's selfish. It's a pussy's way out. You let
I'd
people
say
down.
it's a pussy's way out. Listen, if you're done with this, all the power to you. I'm just saying I think it's a selfish thing.
But like Joe said, it's sort of like it's part of his legend, as gross as it is. I feel that way.
I don't look at it
Like
that
the
way
lead
at all.
singer of.
But I don't look at it as legend. I look at that as a sad ending.
Yeah, I don't even associate that with like when I think of him. I don't think of him killing
the lead
himself.
singer of. Oh my
Stone
God.
Temple
Nirvana.
Pilots.
Kurt
No,
Cobain.
No.
Barack Obama.
Oh my God. Love will tear us apart.
Oh, Joy Division?
Joy Division. So that whole thing that he wrote that song, killed himself. It's like the.
Have you seen the movie? 24-Hour Party People?
Yeah. And Joy Division, the name sounds, and the story behind it is so tragic or whatever. All the other adjectives we can do for suicide, but I feel like that's how I'll see this as a Kurt Cobain, or like, I mean, he was just, he wrote one book and it made him a superstar. And he was like, I don't know. I can't walk away, like you said, would be the easiest way to get out of it.
You know what? Back to Simon's bridge anecdote. She spoke about him drinking. Joe talked about him drinking. His drinking came up all throughout this podcast. Dollars to donuts. He was drunk, and that's the worst part. Is that like
When this happened.
yeah, you will always make the worst decisions drunk, and that's like the decision that, like you said, you cannot take that one back. And when you sober up, that's the thing about being drunk too. Is when you sober up, that's why they call it sobering up. You know, that's why it's almost a metaphor. Like people say, "Oh, you really sobered up." It had nothing to do with drinking. It means like, "Oh, you really realized that what you did was fucking stupid. You're not in this drunken stupor anymore." And now you know, and it's a shame because, again, maybe he wasn't drunk. I'm just generalizing, but given the amount that he drank in his life, I'm going to assume he probably had a few drinks in his system. Why wouldn't you? I assume that would help you.
I mean, the way most people commit suicide isn't to give themselves time to think about whether they made a mistake. And we don't know. Maybe you go somewhere else and you can say, oh, this is worse than what I left, or you know what I mean? But like jumping off a building or off a bridge, that gives you time to think. Hanging yourself, shooting yourself. I mean, I guess taking pills, but you're so fucked up that,
Sad either way.
yeah, it's really sad.
Come on, you got anything else?
No, that
Do you hear?
I listened to our Patreon review of Joe's and Tony's episode, or if it's still up there, go back to listen there.
I feel bad asking this because
Depending who you are and where you're coming into this.
You feel bad
you know
asking
what,
this?
don't even worry about it.
Well, ask. Come on, that was going to be juicy.
It doesn't matter.
Don't be a fucking bitch.
Ooh, I like it when Simon gets uncomfortable like this.
Whoa. Okay. Fine. When people kill themselves,
Go on.
other people. No, I'm not doing this. I mean, we'll
This is too
never
heavy.
know
This
how
is the comedy show.
we'll
Forget
never
about
know how close Joe and Anthony Bourdain were. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Were they best friends? Would Joe have even been like the call that would have been made?
He's one of
he's
one of Joe's
try and
favorites.
save
I think
himself,
David
you know
Cho.
what
I think
mean?
David Cho was much closer
Yep.
to Bourdain than Joe was.
I just, when somebody's gone, you can kind of make the relationship maybe
Bigger
more
than it was. Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I
a
mean?
lot of people do that, yeah.
because nobody's around to call you on. Not even call you on it. It's just like you. I don't know.
I think it's also. I will say this though. I think it's. Sorry, Kamar to cut you. I think it's different when you're at the level of fame that they both were, because you can feel like you're a kindred spirit. Maybe only see the person once or twice a year, but when you're together, you feel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I listen. I didn't want to bring it up. Did they talk once a year, every day, every week? Like, I don't know how.
I mean, Bourdain was only on once, right? That's confirmed.
They went hunting, jujitsu. Maynard. They
Yeah.
had a group text.
Yeah.
What was Maynard in all of this?
They were gonna fight.
Wrestle.
Oh, right. Gotcha. But was that ever really going to happen?
Who knows?
But I feel whoever mentioned David Cho, that was
I did.
this cathartic experience just over again. Do you know what I mean? Like
When
David Cho was on top.
David, it was very deep, and he cried, and it was all this stuff again. I guess Joe forgot that talk, but this is actually maybe the person who knew Tony better than both David Cho and Joe.
Well, that's the only reason I even mentioned this was because at some points in this, Joe was talking to her like.
He was making a lot about him.
Well, and that he was
something happens
very
with suicides.
close to and I don't know. It just felt like she didn't even know that he was that, which she would have known. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Let's also keep in mind, though.
They were that close.
well, it seemed weird for him to be telling her stories about
Yeah, I'm just all I'm
or
gonna
the
say,
way he felt.
again, like I was gonna say, is it's all about how I don't know. Perception is everything too, right? Like Joe could have felt like they were the greatest of friends, where maybe Bourdain was like, oh, I like Joe. He's maybe he didn't think twice about it. Like Joe was like, oh, we have this great connection, and Bourdain was just like, oh, he's a podcaster that occasionally, sometimes it's a two-way street, and they both might see it differently. I don't know. I also find that
Maybe they were best buddies though. Like
maybe
I
they
shouldn't
were.
Take that away from Joe.
I also
either.
find
don't
that people do this weird thing though when someone dies, like I was a better friend and I should feel more sad. You know what I mean? Like everyone can be like, I didn't know Bourdain, and I can be somewhat sad that he took his own life. Like obviously I'm not going to be as sad as Joe. Like I'll say that. Like if I started weeping, it would be a little disingenuous probably because I didn't know the guy. Unless I was like Kitchen Confidential changed my life somehow. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I hate when people do that. That whole like, oh, I was a better friend, I should be more sad. Like
He should have known it wasn't all AI voice.
who cares?
I don't. Sorry, I'm just trying to.
No, I know. Yeah, he should have.
I just think that was an excuse, kind of like Joe not watching The Push. You know what I mean?
Or
he just
Q,
makes
or
up
the
these
Q documentary.
reasons in his
but
head not to
his
do
reason
things.
is I don't want to be bummed out that much.
How the fuck did Joe?
I would want to know
not
how
watch
my
The
friend
Push?
was represented. You know what
We
I
don't
mean?
know that he hasn't. Maybe
Can
he
I-
has. He just didn't. React.
Especially if I'm having this woman on as
That was
a
the peak
guest,
of this
like
podcast.
I'm watching
by the, way.
the
We were
show.
on fire when that shit was going
Episode
on. Watch
2.
the Push. We're talking about next week and fucking get done.
That might have been our best podcast ever.
Yeah, maybe.
For the record, if you
was
haven't,
lit.
if
It was
you
lit.
haven't, you need to go find. It's on Canadian Netflix. I don't know if it's on all Netflix. You need to go find Darren Brown's The Push, because it is the most fucked up thing.
And we should have known that what was going to happen when a pandemic came.
Yeah.
Selfishness.
Yeah, we should have known right then that we were all fucked.
We're
That should have been,
exposed.
yeah, we're all done.
This
Everybody's pushing everybody off edges of buildings.
It's not 1 for 4. It's like 4 for 4. Yeah.
It's line them up and
Yeah.
push them off.
How many do I have to push off? Yeah. Kamar, you're done?
How
That's it?
many arms do I have? It's a good thing that our brains can fucking operate multiple limbs
Yeah,
because
that's
we're
what-
going to need that
yeah.
to push people off of
true.
the edges of buildings.
Octopi guys will make it probably into the Paralympics before the Olympics.
Probably, yeah.
Rate it.
Oh, I give it a 2. Did I give all of them a 2? I think I did. And then I think I gave the week a 2. What a
Yeah, I
fucking-
give this one a 2.
I give it
didn't
3.5.
like
I thought it was interesting that she revealed that he didn't think he was a really good chef. Maybe he wasn't even a good chef, but he just did the work, wrote the book. I get a little more insight despite everything we did.
But I mean, there's a saying, and you've probably heard this in the kitchen industry. There's a saying: "Those who can't cook right."
Well, and like they said, he's written the book. For some reason, you can't. I think you can still do this. You can still write another What Restaurant Life Is, but somehow he wrote the quintessential book describing the experience of working in a restaurant, and because it was New York City.
I mean, some people just get it though, right?
If he was
you
at
don't have
Applebee's in Rochester, it
Yeah.
might not be so
No, I'm
interesting.
sure. Yeah. Simon, you worked in a kitchen.
I did.
The keys you have to know if you've read the book. Because I remember the book. I was in Australia when I read it, and it just the romanticizing of the whole thing was just like
Oh, I remember
visceral.
every cook I worked with in Toronto was
Yeah.
just fucking jizzing over.
Sort
that
of makes
book.
it gross. It sort of
You
makes
haven't
it
read
gross.
Kitchen Confidential. You don't even care. I was like, I don't care. I
It
shouldn't
was a
be
chef
here.
friend.
I
who gave it to
haven't
me.
read Kitchen Confidential.
You'll
No,
love
but they
it.
didn't get it. I was like, I have no desire to be in this kitchen.
But the
quick
kitchen I
read.
worked was lame. Don't even associate it with
too late
kitchens.
now.
Okay. All right. Well, that was an episode. We did it. We made it. Amazing. Don't forget to go check out On It. I will leave a link in the description. If you live in the continental United States, you can currently get yourself some free Alpha Brains. So
$3.99.
why would you not take us up on that offer? Like I said, there will be a link in the description. Head over there if you're in the States. Grab yourself some free Alpha Brain. Try it out. If it doesn't work, well, it was free. So I don't know who you could complain to for that. That being said, we do have some socials. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's at JREE Podcast. You can follow Kamar on Instagram.
Kamar Babar.
I've been posting some stuff again, so I guess if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow me. It's at Floydy, Floyd with 5 E's at the end. There's a subreddit. It's r/JREE Podcast. If you want to join in the conversation, you can head on over there. COVID talk is just fucking fuego over there right now. What else? The YouTube. If you want to watch the show, youtube.com/JREE Podcast. You can see what we look like. We will disappoint you, no doubt. You can't see what Simon looks like.
Like and subscribe.
Don't forget to hit the like button while you're over there. Definitely subscribe. You don't really have a choice. If you're going to go to the YouTube,
Have to.
if you're going to go to the YouTube and you don't hit subscribe, just bang your head off the wall for a bit. And then, of course, the Patreon. If you want to support the show, you can do so for as little as $5 a month. Head over to patreon.com/JREE Podcast. For that $5 a month, you will get the Post Joe, which is the show after the show where we shoot the shit. And you will also get yourself the backlog of This Won't Age Well, the show where we go back, or where we went back, we listen to old episodes, and we did what we did. Or we do what we do here. I think that's it. Anything I missed? Simon looks angry.
I'm just watching what Kamar's doing. Did you just
He does his
sing-
Nardwar thing now. Where
Did
he
you just sing Smells Like Teen Spirit there at the end?
Let Spotify figure it out. Put it on, Matt. Put it on.
Fuck it. Let it ride.
Load up on guns. That's a show. Thank you so much for listening. Oh, I forgot I have to say this for someone. Happy Hanukkah. That being said, thank you so much for listening. We hope you have a great weekend, and as usual,
Don't trust anyone. Keep your eyes open.